health test, I believe. Is that correct? Fighter health?
Yep. Down in the journal, guys, there's a handout there. It's called the conflict table. And you can open that, and that gives you the tables there. I'll show it to you again. Take a look at that. It'll show you what skills apply to setting the disposition, and to each action that you take in the conflict.
I'm down with capture too. I'm willing to spend a persona point. If we do the kill and I'm attacking, they get to help. Is that the way it works, right? Add to the dice.
They do, and monsters work a little differently, right? So,
How many are
basic. There are 6 in the room. So the way it works with monsters is they have a nature rating. So, for instance, kobold's nature rating is 2. So for anything they do, they don't have skills. Monsters don't. For anything that they roll for, they're rolling for their nature. And their descriptors are trapping, lurking, and swarming. So essentially, for their rolls, they get to roll their nature, and they get +1 dice for each additional creature that's helping. So one kobold rolls his nature of 2, and then he gets 1 help die for each additional kobold. So they would get 5, 7 dice, essentially, on your typical roll. Now, creatures have different strengths and weaknesses too. Like kobolds may be a little better at flee and pursue conflicts than they are at killing conflicts. So they may get a little boost on that. But that's kind of unknown right now. I had mentioned skill to determine the strengths and weaknesses of creatures, and maybe learn, what types of conflicts they're good at, what types of weapons they prefer, what their nature descriptors are, etc. That's something that you can definitely do to get an edge. But yeah, creatures work differently on their rolls. They're really just rolling their nature and getting help from each additional creature. So it can be, and you have to think though too, kobolds are kind of weak. They have a might of 1, but if there are 5 or more kobolds, they get might 2. So even at might 2, you guys are 1 stronger than them on the order of might. So kobolds die pretty quick. We saw like the rats. Remember how quickly they died? So remember, even if there's like 10 or 12 kobolds and they have a disp 13 or 14, and you guys have a disposition of 8, in the first couple of rounds of combat, you could reduce them down to, 6 or 7 kobolds as you start doing hit points to them. So even though they may be really strong at first, and that goes for any monster or group of monsters, you start whittling them away throughout the conflict, and they become weaker and weaker, and the rolls get worse and worse. So let's just get started here. We're just going to do the phase procedures here. We have to do start and end of session. So the start of the session, we're going to do a prologue, and then we're going to look at our goals real quick. So who would like to do the prologue? It doesn't have to be anything elaborate. We started off last session, I think we started after you guys had discovered the secret armory with the chest and the weapons in there.
Okay, sure. So, how far back do you want me to go? I can just talk about where we're at now, right?
Just starting off when you guys found the chest and the weapons and stuff in the secret armory.
Right. So, we did find a chest and it had silver in it, and we stashed the silver in one of the barrels. We don't want to forget about that, because when we go to try to get out of here, we want to make sure we put that in our packs and take that with us.
It is marked on the map.
Yeah, and then I think we proceeded to go into the hole into the limestone cavern area. And when we went in there, we were attacked by a bunch of rats, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Giant rats, They were going after the halfling.
Yeah, and then we definitely kicked their butts and made them run away. We didn't really fight them, but we scared them off.
Yeah, Breck wailed on them. Pretty good, yeah.
Right, and then I think that was right. And then right after, I don't know, or maybe right before that, Pingsley fell into a pit
Yeah, it was right after that. Yeah,
Oh,
that
that's
gets
right.
a bit.
Yeah, and he sprained his ankle, so I think he has a sprained ankle right now. He's injured. Um,
I remember Pingsley being like, "All right, I'm going to sneak down this tunnel and I'm going to see what's down there, guys."
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then we got him out with the rope. We did manage to somehow keep the lantern with us, so we do have. I think we have all of our stuff with us, but we're now at the entrance where we're looking in to. I pictured as a big open cavern area where there's these kobolds and they're around a fire. We set up a trap, which was we forgot to check for traps when we walked in there, and we see a young girl in the corner who's looking scared, but I don't think she sees us yet. I don't know if it's just too dark or what's going on, but we're hearing screams from another like back room, and we pretty much tripped up a wire full of like bottles or something, and now they are aware that we're here.
Yes, bottles and
And
bones.
now we're just pretty much wondering what we're going to do next.
All right.
Yes.
So I see you don't have any conditions, Violet. So normally you'd be able to remove hungry and thirst, or restore 1 point of nature.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take a look at our goals real quick, guys. And remember, these are goals for the session.
Can we change
We're
our
gonna want to have.
instinct?
We can do that as well. Let's look at our goals first, though. Violet's is I will save the human child from the grips of the evil kobolds. So I think she's updated that. Sounds like a great goal.
Mm-hmm.
Brex, I think he has the standard warrior goal here. I will bring punishment to those responsible. So it looks like it's going to happen one way or another. Probably tonight. In Pingsley, what we got here? We'll be sure to be the last. I will be sure to be the last one harmed by whoever or whatever. The house of the Three Squires.
Whoever, whatever, ransacked the house of Three Squires. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to say too, we were talking about my instinct, which was I'm attracted to beautiful things, which as a newbie, I think that kind of wasn't working out too good because there's not very many beautiful things in a dungeon. So I changed my instinct to I always thoroughly search unexplored areas.
Yeah. So the more I kind of learn about this game, instincts are kind of hard. The way you want to use instincts is you want to use them to get free actions in the game without taking the grind. So you want to think like gamey, like mechanical, like when I do this, I get a free roll. Oh, I'm cutting in and out. Okay.
Yeah, you kind of are a little bit.
So something like this, I always, here, let me show it to you. I always thoroughly search unexplored areas. So what that's going to allow Violet to do is when you guys search a room or search an area, I would usually call for a scout test. Well, that allows her to make a scout test without actually ticking the grind.
Yay, that's good. That's good.
So any kind of adventure phase actions you take, or camp phase too. Like if you're a wizard, like I always scribe scrolls in camp or something like that. That way you can do it without spending checks. So that's a good instinct. Alex has to check my audio. Let me do that here.
I should probably change my instinct then.
Yeah, something you can use more often, you know? If you don't think you can use... What is your instinct again?
I never spare a bully or an orc.
Yes, if you don't run into that very often, it may not be as useful,
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Testing
More
1.
specific.
How do I sound now, Alex?
You sound good now. It's just
Better?
that
Okay.
when you're at the end and beginning of every sentence, you were cutting out because your voice.
You know what it is voice mod has its own voice gate, its own noise gate, and it's actually better than Discord's, I think. So I'm just going to turn Discord's
What was
off.
that one you mentioned that might be good for Breck? Like it was something
Think
like
of your-
I always lead when going into, unexplored areas. Like
Right, but it should have some kind of mechanical effect. It should be something that allows you to get a free test without taking the grind or without spending a check in camp.
oh.
So a good guideline is look at your skills. So I see that Breck has a criminal skill of 3, which is used for picking locks, looking for traps sometimes possibly. So using something with your criminal, like something to do with traps or something like that, might be good.
Always check for chaps.
Oh, here's an idea. So I had mentioned that you can use Hunter to determine strengths and weaknesses of creatures.
Oh, yeah, there you go, man.
I'm thinking maybe like I always discern the strengths and weaknesses of my enemies or something like that.
That would be good.
And that
I
would
always
give you some
square up
free
my
hunter
enemies.
rolls.
I always square
Yeah,
up my
I would
enemies
square
before
up.
a fight.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Think of that one. Mentor. Now you have the ability to effectively teach your skills to others. Be something like I always try to pass on my knowledge to my friends or something like that. There's some ideas.
I think the one about using the hunter skill, that's pretty optimal.
It is. That's a good one. Yeah. Because I was thinking, I thought of that. I mentioned it in Discord. But you could do that, but it would cost. The grind would go if you stop to kind of try to figure out. Well, I'm going to really think about these kobolds. What do I know about them? Time would have to pass for that. But if it's your instinct, if you do it all the time, no time's going to pass, and you get to make the check. Of course, you have to face the consequences of failures, either a condition with success or a twist where just another obstacle falls in the way. So yeah, maybe something like there's actually a similar one on one of the sample characters. It says, and I think this is what he had in mind. It's the wizard in the book. He says, this guy says, always map our progress when we camp, which would give you free cartographer tests in camp. So that's a good one too if you're a cartographer.
So I changed it to I always determine the strength and weaknesses of my enemies.
Excellent. Cool. So maybe that's one of the first things we can do to get started here.
Yeah.
Okay. And Breck's goal, I bring punishment. Belief, hesitation kills. Only the brave and decisive will be victorious. Violet's belief is that protecting those who would protect me is how I roll.
I'm going to keep that.
Okay. And Pingsley, your belief is the strength of my friends make up for my cowardice, mostly. It'll be interesting to see how you play that. So you're going to keep the same goal too, Alex?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. So let me describe the scene for you then. Did you put that goal on the screen?
Up here, yeah.
Oh, okay. So as you guys were looking in on this dimly lit room, there are these kobolds huddled close to a brazier of red-hot coals. So there's dim light in this room. You can see it pretty well. And this is before Breck actually stumbled into the tripwire trap as you were, looking at them. They're squatting around in this pile of frayed rugs. They seem to be kind of huddling close to the brazier for warmth, and they were playing a gambling game that involved tossing a handful of etched bone slivers. And in this room is just covered with stalactites and stalagmites. You know what those are, Andrew? They're like the rock formation, like the cone-like formations.
Yeah, I took caving.
From the ceiling and floor. Oh, that's right. You're a spelunker.
I took caving.
And what they've done, it looks like they've broken off some of the stalactites near the floor to create sort of a clearer field of vision from where they are to the entrance and to the other exit in the room. So there's kind of this thicket of jagged stumps between you and them on the other side of the room. And in the corner, among some of the rubble and the remains of some of these rock formations, you see this small human girl, probably no older than 10 years old, huddled behind these rocks, hiding back there, and the kobolds do not seem to have noticed her.
Leave human children.
Right, so Breck has this plan, like he pulls out his flask of oil that's like, we're going to set them on fire or something like that. And you proceeded to get closer to them, and that's when you tripped the trap and kind of fell on your knees, and the rattle, pop, and they all stand up and see you guys, and they all start chittering and clicking and making these sort of wheezing sounds very loudly, kind of like lizard sounds, They all kind of extend their necks, and they're all making these weird sounds, and they pick up these spears, and you can see they have slings, and that's kind of where we're at now.
Right. So, can I do my analysis without burning anything, without affecting
Yeah.
to attack? I
Yeah,
do.
let's do. So let me look at the hunter factors for that real quick.
And you guys can help me with this.
The hunter, yeah,
Hunter skill. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna want to look
absolutely.
for help for helping there. So it's labor and survivalist help, or if anything in your nature could help something like this as well, you could help.
I have a survivalist too, so I can help you.
Awesome.
So to find information about a beast, things like what it likes to eat, what it eats, what its weapons are, and more specifically in which conflicts it's most dangerous. You can read the aspects of a creature's nature, its bestial habits. Also, Lee, you can set wilderness traps with Hunter too, something to keep in mind. So the factors to figure out what their stuff is here. It's a hunter test versus the creature's nature. Kobold's nature's 2, so it's an ob 2 hunter test.
Hunter.
Yeah.
Elf friend is going to be helping me, so that's an extra dice.
You have laborer or survivalist?
I don't think Bingsley's going to help. I mean, he wouldn't know much about monsters.
Yeah, he's been in the kitchen for a long time. Well, he's been in prison actually for a long time, but. Yeah, So how's Violet helping with this, Angie?
Yeah, so I'm gonna help him out with a die with my
How though?
with my survivalist skill.
What does that look like? So I would imagine
But
like
yeah, I'm
Breck,
like,
Well, here's the thing, like I mentioned in Discord, when Breck stands up with his sword, you can see sort of an expression of surprise
Fear.
on this kobold, and fear. They're like,
Oh, look at the size of that guy's sword.
so they're kind of, and they are grabbing for some spears. Some of them have slings. Kind of turns and says, something like as a hunter, he probably knows something about kobolds, and that's what we're going to determine. Maybe he would turn to Violet and be like, like, what are we going to do?
yeah, and I have a little knowledge about judging the situation and being able to tell, I say
We
I tell
quickly,
them
we
that I-
quickly analyze.
yeah, we quickly analyze how what the
Weakness.
threat level is here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, really, since Violet doesn't have the hunter skill, you could use remembering as your elf nature.
Ah, yes.
Maybe you remember something. Being an elf, maybe you know a little something about kobolds. All right, so that's going to be +1. So there's 1 help die. On the roll, you can use fate after the roll to reroll 6s or to reroll 6s, or what's the other thing, Al? You can use a wise to reroll.
Yes.
I would like to ask you where my dog is right now.
He's back. He's in the back of the group. Captain Jack. He's still very frightened.
Yeah, well, I look back at
his tail
him to
between
make
his legs.
sure he's okay and there's nothing coming up behind him, or
Yeah, he's back there. He's got his tail between his legs, and he's kind of whimpering right now. Now, before the roll, if you'd like to use Personally, you can spend 1 point of Persona to add a die. You can spend a point of Persona to add your nature to your roll, if you have a relevant wise. Now, that would tap your nature, though. You'd lose 1 nature temporarily.
I think I'll save my Persona point for combat or for driving off or whatever.
Yeah, something more important, maybe. Okay.
Yeah, so here I've got a total of 4 dice to roll, I believe.
All right, and it's ob 2. Their nature is 2. Boom.
Voila!
All right.
very nice.
All right, so here's the lowdown on these things. Maybe you know something about it. Maybe you've even encountered them in your past, Breck. So their nature is 2, their might is 1. Their descriptors are trapping, lurking, and swarming. Generally, they're really good at making traps. You know this. They're known for their love of traps. They even like to trap each other just for giggles, just for fun. They love it. They get a big kick out of it. Something interesting too, kobolds are known to love explosives. They have figured out how to create like these bombs that they make. And you've heard this. This is just kind of rumor. You've never seen anything firsthand. But they just sort of have this this penchant for using bombs. You don't see none of these look like they have any bombs that are what you would recognize to be a bomb. But they also tend to be somewhat cowardly. It would be more likely for them to try to probably capture you than kill you. And you know that it probably would not be wise to try to flee from a large group of kobolds because of the number of traps that they generally have set, in their dwellings.
How many are there?
To move quickly through this place could be dangerous. You would realize that since there's kobolds here, there's probably traps everywhere.
Okay, so I'd like to ask you, how many are there around this fire pit again?
There are 6.
6 of them. Okay. Well, I'm going to thoroughly search this unexplored area, looking up and down as best I can along the walls. And now that we realize there's a trap, I'm just going to kind of start scanning the room really good just to see if there's nothing above us, over our head, or, it's going to come down on us. And I'd like to know what I see.
Okay.
And in the room for traps.
Yeah. As we're doing that, let's just put the kobolds out here. There are 6 of them.
And I'm using my instinct to do that, by the way. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but
Yes.
So
I should have to roll for that, right?
right, but hold on. There's something kind of more important happening here. So Breck, maybe you know about the bombs. You know that it might not be wise to try to flee from these things. They're really good at pursuing, is what I'm saying. Maybe not so good at fighting so much. Like I said, they'd be more likely to try to capture you or drive you off than to try to kill you. They are quite a bit weaker than you individually. But as these kobolds are making all this noise, you see their throats kind of expand and they're making sort of these chirping, almost like bird noises. From the tunnel across the way, you see 4 additional kobolds come into the light. A couple of them are carrying spears, a couple of them are carrying slings. 2 of them appear to be quite different than the ones you're looking at. The ones in this room appear to be males, Lee. You know that males have sort of colorful tufts and ridges on their backs. They're kind of small. The females are much larger and much more muscular. 2 of these among them are females. So now there are 10 kobolds in this room.
Jeez.
So what is your intent? This is going to be a conflict right now. We're not going to have any time to be searching around. We did need to determine. So what is your initial intent here?
Kill.
And what is at stake here? Breck says kill.
Man.
Well,
There's a human child over here, for God's sakes.
I think Breck has convinced me to fight these kobolds. He obviously relays to us that well, they're very good at pursuing, but they can't fight. We could kill them all.
Yeah, I'm normally pretty calm, but when I see the child, I'm pretty upset about that, and I want to do what I can to try to rescue that girl and whoever else is making these screaming sounds out that we can't see yet.
Presentation kills. Only the brave and decisive will be victorious. Raw!
Yeah. Yeah, Breck brandishes his sword and the light of the, fire. And he's like, it's like he has his game face, time to go.
Yeah, man.
So is the intention to slaughter these things?
Yes.
Yeah, man. We charge forward. The sword hits the stalactites with sparks.
All right. Can dig it. So, team goal.
The battle cry goes up. Raw!
The team goal is kill them all. The enemy goal. Let's see. The kobolds, I think, are going to. I think they're going to try to capture you. Let's see if they can maybe try to capture. Capture the intruders.
You know, Mom, just so you know, you have the trait Lone Wolf, and you also have the trait
Hiding.
Calm.
Hiding, calm. Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff I got planned to use here. I just gotta see what's happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
Part of battle and quick-witted.
Now, you know, you could. So, okay. Out of curiosity, if she decided to not take part in the conflict and instead directly try to rescue the child, just out of curiosity for the narrative's purpose, would she be able to make tests outside of our conflict?
Yeah, I would probably split that into a separate conflict, actually.
I see. Would she get
Well,
bonuses
I think I
for-
don't want to draw any attention though to the child right now. If they don't see her there, if I go over there, even if I mess up, like, and they see me, even if I am hiding, I'd rather wait and see what happens with the fight. Do you know what I'm
just saying?
saying?
Remember to use your traits against yourself, because that's the way you get checks.
Yeah, if you can, especially on rolls that you may consider to be really easy, like, hey, I can make this pretty easy. You know, take -1 die. You know, use a trait against yourself to get a check. But yeah, we can, to answer your question, we could, in conflict, we can absolutely split it into 2 separate conflicts if there's 2 separate things going on. I'd hate to do that in session 2, but
Right. Yeah.
that is a possibility. So let's look at the conflict abilities here. So setting conflict disposition for a kill conflict, it's a fighter roll, and you're going to add your base health to that roll, the number of successes, and that's going to determine your starting disposition.
In that
I have a 4 fighter and a 5 health.
In that case,
Nice.
can I actually... Can Pingsley decide to do a second thing here? I think what Pingsley would want to do then is to get the kid out of this situation and pick the lock to the nearby door.
And leave your 2 friends at the mercy of the 10 kobolds? It's a lot of kobolds.
Fight. There's 10
And
of
I
them.
push you back and say, no, not at this moment. I'm protecting you.
They are preparing to fight. You can see some of them are like putting stones in their slings, and their slings start whirring, you know. Looks like some of them are preparing to throw some spears, you know.
Okay.
They're going to fight back.
Okay.
For now. The females, the females seem to be like screaming orders at them. And they're all kind of scared looking and all kind of fiddling with their shit right now. So let's do the disposition roll. It's a fighter roll.
You waited. So you said it's fighter plus health?
Yep.
So that's 9.
Breck is exhausted. That's a factor, so you're going to get -1 success on your roll for being exhausted.
I give him a die for fighter.
Yeah, obviously.
I'm not worried about losing. We're helping.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not going to lose this roll.
So it sounds like Vi's pulling out her bow.
Yeah.
All right. We get any help from Pingsley?
Yes, of course.
Pingsley is injured.
Now,
remember,
can
you get
can I attempt to sneak over to the brazier and knock it over on top of him?
That would definitely be something like a maneuver, yeah. See, that's the whole idea. When you're choosing your actions for the combats, they're not just actions to roll on. They're actual. We should try to at least have a general idea of what you're doing to help, you know, in the conflict.
Sure.
Specific stuff like that's great. We can make some.
Okay.
Well, can I get an eye on, like, can you put some dudes on the screen and so we can get a general, like, gist of where people are at?
No, it doesn't matter. Use your imagination. I described the room to you.
All right. Well, I kind of got myself kind of back against the wall, kind of shifting over to the right.
Perfect.
A little bit.
Now, one thing to consider. Violet has a lantern in her hand. Takes
Yeah,
two
well,
hands
I
to use
had
a
to
bow.
set that down quickly, and I've got my freaking bow drawn now at this point.
Okay, that's going to put you in dim light.
Mhm.
It's going to be a factor in all your tests.
Are the kobolds in any sort of? Well, there's the braziers.
No, I should hand the lantern to you, Pingsley, since you're
I'm
injured.
gonna be sneaking into the room, so.
Mm.
All right, well, we're gonna lose dice, dude. And you got a wounded leg.
Put that lantern down.
She puts the lantern
All right.
down.
All right.
Her token
This-
turns kind of
He
black. to
says
show
I'm not taking
dim
it.
light.
Hold on, Dad. This room,
Yeah.
though, it's also in light because there's braziers. You said there's like
It's
3 separate
dim light.
braziers.
It's dim light, yes.
Right, but the lantern is still giving light. It's at her
Dim
feet.
light. Yep, dim light. It gives dim light for 3. Dim light. Yeah, it gives dim light for 3.
Okay, well that's what.
So it still counts as a factor.
Well, doesn't their fire put off some light?
Dim
Yeah.
light. And dim light is always a factor in tests.
Okay,
All right.
but I thought.
Okay,
the-
so
okay, I'm just confused because
This was-
I thought that the lantern gave us light this whole time. Otherwise,
It does
we
if you're
wouldn't have
holding it.
Okay.
That makes sense. If you set it
That
on the
gives you-
ground, it's not going to be as bright as if it's up by your eyes and face, and you
That's
know.
right.
let me
That's
ask
the
you.
rule.
Let me ask you a question. You said that there were stalactites and stalagmites broken off.
Yeah, to kind of create a clear field of view between you and the kobolds have their little rugs and shit piled up over there.
So can she set one on top of one and it's elevated, right?
Yeah.
The one that's broken off that's sitting up a little bit, so she can sit it on, and so we have some light coming out.
Yeah.
Good point. We could hang it off a stalactite.
That is a good point.
I mean, it's
I'll-
instead of setting it on the ground, set it up. Breck's
Yeah.
like, set it on that stump.
Yeah. There we go. Okay, we
There
set it
you
on
go.
the stump.
Lee, that's a good idea.
Yeah, totally, man. That's brilliant. Now,
All right, I'll give you that one. So okay, so the lantern will still create light for 3, and it
Perfect.
will burn. It will burn for the whole conflict here because it's got one turn left on it.
okay, so can you like walk between these stalactites and
Yeah.
stalagmites? I mean, like those kobolds could come in between, a body could fit there, or is it
Yeah.
really
Yes.
blocked off like a fence?
Yeah, so it's kind of there's rubble all over the place. It's kind of rough terrain around you, but yeah, you can move through them. So let's talk about Pingsley's light for a second, and we're gonna kind of look at gear for a moment. Keep in mind that for fighter tests, a backpack is always a factor as well. Normal thing to do, Breck, would be to sling off your backpack right now.
I drop it.
And Breck,
Yes.
don't forget about your weapon. Your weapon has cool abilities.
Yeah, we'll get to that when we choose weapons for the first round here.
Okay.
With the sword, you'll get to choose which type of action you get the +1 success or the +1 die on during this conflict here. Okay, so Pingsley light source. Are you still carrying the candle during this? I guess. I guess it doesn't matter since the lantern now is giving you light because it counts for 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna set the candle to the side.
If you do that, the candle will snuff out.
I snuff out the candle myself and keep it. I put it in a backpack.
All right, the candle snuffs out.
Do I need to drop my backpack too to use my bow?
You should.
Yeah,
It's
I am.
difficult to fight with a backpack.
Okay.
Okay, I'll remember that. Something bad could happen to your backpack. All right, so now we're going to roll for disposition. Breck, if you're going to be the roller, I think all you have is -1 success for being exhausted at this point, since you threw down your backpack. And it sounds like you're
So
getting
can I
1
use-
health die.
Okay, one health die. Can I use Heart of Battle?
Yes?
Is that?
Oh, yes. Yeah, like the mighty, the battle cry or whatever.
The battle. Oh yeah, the battle cry. Totally. I leap forward with the sword. Raw!
The
Screaming
kobolds look horrified.
at the top of my lungs. Screaming at the top of my lungs, man.
Cool. Yeah, so check that trait to show that you've used it 4. I think it says use 4. So you can do that once per session. So that will give you an extra die.
And this isn't the attack. This is just a disposition, correct?
That's right. We're determining how many hit points you have to spread out among ourselves here.
Okay, so I can't use my persona point here.
You could. You can use it to give yourself an extra die. Or you can use it with a wise to tap your nature and get your nature dice on top of your fight roll. but you would have to reduce your nature by 1 temporarily.
Right now we're up to what, 10 die? Is that correct? Or
That's
not?
fighter 4, plus 1 help from Violet. That's 5. Plus 1 for the trait for Heart of Battle. That's 6.
My health, right?
Well, you're going to add what you roll, the successes you roll, to your health. Yep.
Oh, okay.
I
get
got
it.
you.
So that's 6 dice so far. And just to give you an idea, the kobolds, there's 10 of them. They have to roll their nature for kill conflicts. They have a nature of 2, so they get 2 dice. And then they get 1 die for each helper, which is 9. So they get 11 dice.
Holy moly.
I probably should use my persona point.
But the bonus is, Lee, is you always get that health automatically, you know? They don't get that. They'll have to defend. They could roll 3 successes or they could roll 11 successes. There's a big range of possibility here.
Sure. Okay, so, alright.
So this is rolling for what, just so I'm clear?
Okay, disposition is the first thing we roll on it. Determines kind of the strength of each side. Think of it as hit points.
Okay.
And down here, we're going to mark your team's disposition and the enemy disposition. The first team during the conflict to go to 0 disposition loses.
Okay. All
And
right.
we take those disposition points and we divvy them up as hit points against each token.
I see. So if there's 11, then they're gonna have to divvy them up between 11, the dice, right?
And that's right. If
Okay.
they and what's cool too is if there's 10 kobolds, if they only roll 7 successes, then 3 of them aren't even going to be able to take part in the conflict.
Okay.
Which means they probably just run off or blow themselves up or something. We'll see.
When I'm rolling, I'm just rolling the regular roll, 6 dice, correct?
That's right. And we're going to take the amount of successes and add it to your health. Good luck. And it's 6 dice, right?
So I rolled
Alright.
3 successes, and I have a 5 health.
Right, and you're going to get -1 success for exhaustion. So we're looking at 8 minus 1 for exhaustion is 7. You have an option to spend a fate point to re-roll that 6.
Do.
You also have an option to use a fate point with a wise to re-roll a failure. 6 is probably the better choice because if you roll another 6, you know, you keep rolling 6s. So, all right, Breck uses his fate. He gets a 2. All right, so we're gonna have 7. Looks like.
Okay.
Right, team disposition 7. Kobold rolls 2 nature dice for the first kobold, and he gets 9 help. See what they get here. Only 5.
The battle cry worked. Raw!
It did. So what you're going to want to do, these little tokens here, right? The best way to utilize these tokens, you guys have control over them. If you select one and just use Control C to copy, and then you can click on the screen somewhere and just use Control V to paste them on your guys. So with a disposition of 7, you have to divvy those points up. We should have a conflict captain do this, technically, but
Where is our dudes at? Like our
Lee, you're
circles.
our conflict.
they're your tokens, Ange.
No, I don't
Well,
see it on my screen.
Scroll up.
I am up. I only see the kobolds.
Zoom out. Alt, mouse wheel. So like for instance, here's what I'm going to do. Since they have a disposition of 5, that means that only 5 of them are going to get hit point. 3, 4, 5. They really are terrified of you, Breck, apparently.
Could be.
So only 5 of them are going to take part in this conflict. Matter of fact, I'll tell you what happens to the others. So let's take this, Okay, we're going to copy this. So you guys have 7. We need to divvy them up evenly as possible. So it's going to be 2 each, and then one of you will get 1 extra. And these are hit points. So as we go through these actions, you guys will deal and lose hit points.
Let's give the other one to, who do you think? Breck, you decide. It's your war cry here.
Yeah, I take it. The third one.
Can you see what I'm doing here on the screen?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Really?
Like
I didn't know
saying,
if you... yeah.
It's a lot easier if you just copy and paste them, though, honey, rather than drag them around. That's fine.
Okay.
How do you copy? Is it Control-C, Control-V?
Yep. Control-C to copy and Control-V to paste, yep.
So I'm sorry, are there only 5 kobolds in this combat?
Hey, don't move my kobolds. Yeah. We need to make room for the cards, Alex. Let me do this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm not moving kobolds.
Oh, yeah. Angie.
Oh, I'm having fun.
I'm going to take away control. Take away your control privileges.
Don't take away my control privileges.
Is
Okay.
Captain Jack taking part in our conflict?
Normally he might, but he's afraid. He can't help.
Yeah.
When you're afraid, you can't help.
I'm gonna train that dog.
He's whimpering.
I'm gonna train him to be a fighter.
He's looking back behind you into the dark cave like he wants to go home.
Poor
You
guy.
are home.
Okay. So the next step, follow the procedures here. All right. So we've rolled for disposition. Now we're going to choose actions.
Okay.
At this point, you'd want to choose what weapon you're using for the first round of the conflict here. And for you, Brack, if you're using your sword, you would want to choose what action, either attack, defend, feint, or maneuver, that you would use that +1 die bonus you get for your sword during the whole conflict here. Once you choose it, it kind of sticks for the entire conflict. So if you want to say I'm using my sword for attack, you're going to get +1 success in all your attacks. Kingsley, are you arming yourself?
Of course, I'm going to take out my meat cleaver.
Kingsley takes out his meat cleaver. Violet's got out her bow. These guys, the guys with little orange dots on them, they have slings. And the one guy with the blue has a spear. So I'm going to choose 3 actions for my team. We'll put them out face down. And you guys can begin discussing what actions you want to take in which order.
Can you see me clicking on these cards and stuff, you guys?
So what kind of what kind of weapon is
just looking at
what kind of weapon are you using?
Using a sword.
Yeah, I had actually set this up before, but it looked a little cluttered. But yeah, we can put these cards. Put them off over here to the left, though, outside of the middle.
Okay.
Yeah,
Where's my sword? Where's my sword card?
I gave you a sword card. You can pull it out of the deck too, Leah. That might be the best. If you just go over to the weapon deck on the right and hit choose, you can drag it out on the table.
Isn't that it right there?
And to view the card, if you select it and press the Z key on your keyboard, it will zoom in on it for you. It goes for pretty much anything that you can click on. You can zoom in on it. I've put the sling and the spear over here too, so you can see that. All right, so I'm gonna pick 3 conflict cards. Shit, what happened? Oh, okay.
Dude, that sword is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
All right, the kobolds have put out their 3 cards.
You should turn that music up just a hair. It sounds kind of groovy.
Okay.
Actually, I guess I should flip it. I don't.
Yeah, don't flip it yet. I mean, mine are set, so.
Yeah.
You're trying to guess, okay? You guys know that the kobold's nature is trapping, lurking, and swarming. So I have to keep that in mind as the GM, like when I'm picking their actions. And right now, I imagine they're swarming.
Dad, I have a question for you.
Or lurking, yeah.
I want to go up, sneak around while they are going to be attacking. So like Breck is going to charge in, start swinging. Violet's going to be peppering them with arrows. Can I sneak in and kick over one of the braziers? And if so, would that be a maneuver?
That sounds like a maneuver to me. Yeah.
Okay.
With maneuvers are kind of special. Maneuvers don't reduce your opponent's disposition. They either hinder your opponent and make their next action get less dice, or they help your group and give your group more dice on your next action.
Now, how you said this brazier though is pretty big, and they're clustered around it. So would I get like a bonus or anything?
Not really. I mean, you get to roll your maneuver dice, and depending on the outcome, we can determine what happens.
Can I use my nature instead of fight because I'm sneaking? That's a part of my nature.
For maneuver, in here, look, this is a good table to keep handy, guys. If you can open it in a new window, a different window. For a kill conflict, a maneuver uses health.
But can I use my nature instead because I'm sneaking?
Yes, absolutely. If you can justify it.
Okay.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so somebody's put out the third action. What are the other two actions? And what you can do is you can move your tokens underneath which cards, which actions each character is taking.
Can I ask you what you're talking about, Alex? What is it you're seeing that you're trying to knock over? I think I missed that.
There's a brazier. It's a big metal bowl full of hot coals up there by these big piles of rugs where they were laying and gambling. But they've all stood up now, and there's, some of them have appeared in the passageway.
So what is it you're trying to do? Turn it over on them and burn them or something?
Yeah, ideally.
Really? Wow, that's a great idea. Okay.
That could even be considered an attack too, Alex. Actually, I mean.
Hell yeah.
I mean, that's what's okay. Everything's very loose. We're going to create the fiction here based around the actions. It's kind of a card game in a way, but at the same time, we're doing role playing through the whole thing here.
We can help each other while we're attacking, correct?
That's right.
Awesome.
Is that the card you picked for yourself, Lee?
Yes.
Okay, that should go down here in either slot 1 or slot 2.
Slot 1 for...
Like down here, it needs to face one of their cards. Yep.
Am I supposed to be picking a card too?
You're supposed to be picking a card.
So what you can do is you can click and drag to select your token and your hit point tokens. You just drag them all at once down here. Boom, to show that Breck's taking the first action here.
Well, you're gonna see what it is. I can't. Oh no, wait.
It doesn't matter now because I've already put out my card, so there's no cheating.
Well, wait. Am I number 3 here?
You're number 2.
Oh, am I number 2?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, let me speed this up a little bit. We're gonna put Violet here, and then we're gonna put Pingsley down here. Okay, so here we go. Action 1. We're gonna flip them. It is an attack versus a maneuver.
Which is a versus test, as we can tell by...
If you look up here, there's a handy little action table. So an attack against a maneuver is a versus test. So it's going to be a margin of success. Whoever gets the more successes than the other will determine the outcome.
And they always get our help, right?
Yes, as long as you can help the skill that's being used. Breck is using fighter for attack.
Oh, I'm helping him.
Fighter helps fighter.
We'll both help, I think.
For sure.
6 dice. I'm going to burn a persona point.
Yeah, you might just wipe him out instantly.
Yeah. The kobolds are getting 6. They have nature 2. He's got 4 help.
So I'll burn a persona, so that's what, 7? Right?
Oh, wait a minute. Also, he has a sling. Slings get plus 2 dice on maneuver.
Ooh.
It does not account against bows, crossbows, or similar weapons, though. So they actually get 8 dice in this roll.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Maybe I should
range.
add another-
They're ranging you, Lee. That's why attack versus maneuver is interesting, especially if you have a sling, because they're kind of ranging you as you're running at them. You know,
How many dice do you have?
the kobolds are
Well,
getting
I-
8 for their maneuver. Oh,
No, I
I
mean
have
Breck.
right now. Yeah, right now I have 7.
Plus your sword.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Okay.
well, the
so-
sword will give +1 success on the roll,
Oh,
as long as you get at least 1 success.
Oh sweet. So it's kind of like an even Steven deal here, I think.
Yep, the sword gets a +1 success on versus rolls.
and armor. Remind me again how armor works really quickly.
Your leather armor you can use to give your opponent -1 success on their attack or feint roll
Got it.
once per conflict. Leather armor.
Got it.
Can I use? I can only use my trait once during a combat, correct?
Once per session to help yourself. Yep.
I have 2. Can I use the other one?
I think so.
Yeah.
I
you
think
can
it's
use both.
totally related to combat, right? It's
Oh man, so I use my
Quick-witted.
Quick-witted, man. As I'm running forward with my sword, I see them ranging me, and I understand I need to get right on top of them. So I launch myself right at him with my sword.
yeah. So it's like 3 giant leaps, you know, from over the freaking stalactites and shit right at them. They look terrified, Lee. They're like, ah.
Goes in the distance, man. So that's an extra die. So that gives me 8. Okay.
Yep. All right. It's 8 versus 8.
Ooh, yeah, looks
All right.
really good.
So they get a margin of 2 successes. With a maneuver.
Can I use a fate point?
Yes.
How many 6s did I roll?
You rolled 1. Or I'm sorry. Yeah, you rolled 1.
Can you use it to reroll all failures or something?
No, just 1. You can use a
That'd be
persona.
awesome.
Check this out. You can use a persona with a wise to re-roll all failures.
That's what I was saying. You could do that.
Really?
Instead.
But the only thing is, though, Breck is criminal wise. I'm not sure if that might be reaching a little bit.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh.
Darn it.
Okay.
Unless murder is a
Okay.
criminal
Is
action.
that true? There you go.
Murder.
That's not a bad interpretation. Are trying to kill them.
All right, don't worry, Lee. It's not going to be too bad here. So they got 2 successes on you. What that means with maneuver, so they have a choice. They can use a margin of success 1 to impede you guys by giving you -1 dice on your next action. They can use a margin of success of 2 to gain position and gain +2 dice on their next action. And really, with 2 successes, they can only do one of those 2 things. If they get 3 successes, they can either disarm their opponent, or they can impede and gain position. So what they're going to do, I think they're going to gain position. They're going to give themselves +2 dice on their next roll.
Oh boy.
Nasty.
You guys still have a chance to attack, man. You guys still have your attack, so.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so we're going to go to the next action here.
So is the next action him fighting it again, the same
Nope. The
kobold?
next action is yours. You are
Oh,
going to
God.
be shooting.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All right, so we're going to put +2 dice here. I'm going to flip the next cards.
And Mom, don't forget about your bow. Like what it does.
Uh-oh. Attack is independent. So each side rolls dice for their attack and does that amount of damage to the enemy's disposition. So this is where the...
You're wrong though, Dad, because against all weapons except bow and crossbow, attack against attack is a versus test and not independence.
That's right. Slings aren't very good against bows, apparently.
And can we help?
what's my bow do, Al? I don't see anything on my
Elven friend?
bow.
So you see the bow card over here?
Yeah.
Click it. Just click
Did
once
that
and
did
press
that pop
Z.
did that pop up for you guys? Because I should be able to show you
I
stuff.
see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool, Mom. That's
So you're right.
Good.
So that's the
Good
advantage of having a ranged weapon. is it makes those really nasty attacks where it's just like blast one side, the other side, blast the other side. The bow kind of helps you mitigate some of that damage that may be coming your way by making it a
Mom,
versus
you get
test.
+2 dice on maneuver checks.
I saw that, but
Yeah.
he's attacking this, so it's like nothing.
So Angie, for the attack action in a kill conflict, it's a fighter test.
Okay.
Helper.
So
yeah, helping as well.
Yeah, so I've got fighter 3. So if they both help me, that's fighter 5. So I roll 5 dice. Is that right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So they have 2 nature. They get +2 dice for that maneuver. I'm going to say what they do is they kind of get into a formation. They jump back kind of away from where Breck's coming, and they all hop and take cover like behind the fucking stalactites, and they're trying to sling you at close range. So that gives them +2 dice. That's 4. And he gets 1, 2, 3, 4 help. They get 8.
And Mom,
burn a persona point.
Yeah.
So you can do a couple things here. One, you can use your trait for you, calm. I would say that makes sense. And then you can.
Yeah, I mean,
also
I'm just
use your
I'm just like
persona,
calmly
so
like
it's a
just like no, this is nothing, and I just pull back my
Yeah, it's like hunting
bow.
Coney.
I'm just like, yeah, you're just like another deer to me, dude.
Targets.
Target practice.
Yeah, target practice for me. And so just okay, can you get rid of the dice on the screen though, honey, so I can roll 5?
Click somewhere. Click on the screen.
Yeah, just click. They'll disappear.
Oh, okay.
Actually, we should probably turn off 3D dice in this. It could interfere with you. You can do that in
All
settings.
right. So what am I testing? I'm testing my
fighter. And you're getting help, I think, from Breck and Pingsley.
What have you set for an obstacle? Anything?
Perhaps they're distracting the kobolds as you're shooting at them.
They roll.
Okay, so obstacle is going to be nothing right now.
Yeah,
0 on mine.
Yeah, it's a versus test. It's their 8 dice versus your dice.
You can burn persona, or if you wanted
to.
Yeah, let me roll first, since I guess, right? Can I do that later?
Well, technically, I think if you're adding dice with persona, you should do it before the roll.
Well, I have 2 persona. What does that do for me? It gives me.
You can spend a persona point to add 1 dice. You can spend a persona by using a relevant wise to add your nature dice to the roll. Or you can spend a persona.
I don't have. I'm bookwise and elven craftwise. It's not going to help me.
What is that to reroll all failed dice, Alex? Let me look at it real quick here. Trying to figure that out. 3 points to add 3 dice per roll.
I think I'm going to go with the 5 for now, and if I have to re-roll, maybe I'll use it for that. You know what I mean?
Right. Rewards. Here we go. Rules check here. Tapping your nature.
Yeah, but my nature has nothing to do with what I'm doing.
Okay, so you get +1 die for spending a point, or you can tap your nature by adding your nature dice, or you can use of course, which is where you can spend a persona point to re-roll all failed dice on a test related to your wise. But your wise has to be kind of applicable here.
What's your wise again?
Mine is elven craftwise and bookwise. Yeah, that's not gonna.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you're not throwing books at them.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right, ready.
I got 4. Or no. What did I get?
You got 2.
2.
You got 4. Yeah, we're rolling the 2s.
Why'd you roll at the same time as me?
Yeah.
Oh no. Interesting. Okay, so they get 2 successes on you. What that means is Violet, you take 2 hit points of damage.
Hold on, can she use her fate or persona points here before this? Can she re-roll?
You could use a fate point to re-roll 2 6s.
Did I get any 6?
Or no, I'm sorry. No, you didn't. I was looking at their roll.
I didn't even get a 6.
You didn't get any 6.
I got a 5 and a 4.
So
she could use her fate.
Can I have my nature now? Like 5? 5 more dice?
You can use a wise.
You can tap your. Of course, you can tap your nature.
What does that mean?
It adds your nature rating to the ability check.
Yeah, technically you should do that before the roll, but yeah.
Well, I would have definitely do that. How do I get? What do I have to get rid of though to do that?
Well, you're going to lose one nature temporarily, your current nature. If the action is not related to one of your nature descriptors, which is singing, remembering, and hiding, which I don't see how that could relate to an attack.
So if I take 2 hit points, what happens? I get like hungry and thirsty and then angry too,
You're,
or something?
well, no, you're knocked out. You cannot.
What?
You can no longer participate in the conflict. The way you can get hit points back. Let's check this out though. This is where the defend action comes in, because when you defend successfully, you add the defend successes you get to your disposition. You see what I'm saying?
You mean like on the next round, defend?
Yeah, which is how you get people up from being knocked out.
Shit. I don't even see a place to mark knocked out on this sheet.
You just remove your disposition from your character.
No, you remove your hit points from your token.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we're going to have to do, Ange.
Well, no, she could use her nature. She can tap it.
Yeah, I didn't realize I could
I'll
do
allow
that.
Yeah. You're going to have to reduce your current nature by 1, though.
Okay, but my fate and persona stay the same?
No, you would spend you're burning a persona point to do that. By the way, guys, when you spend
persona points.
By the way, guys, when you spend fate and persona points, not only mark them off in current, but put them towards spent in the right-hand box there.
So, Mom, here's what you're going to do. You can tap your nature, so that means you reduce your nature and you roll 5 additional dice, because that's your nature.
Perfect. Yeah. I'm going to do that, man. I'm not playing around here.
And then, since the test has nothing to do with your nature descriptors, singing, remembering, or hiding, you reduce your current nature by 1. Okay.
So roll 5d6.
Big deal. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. You can see how persona points are very powerful.
Yeah.
There you go.
Successes. 5.
So that's 5 versus their 4.
Okay.
So you're going to do 1 to them, which is going to take this guy out.
Oh my God! Thank God.
Arrow slaps right into his koboldy eye.
Oh yeah, I imagine like several arrows kind of flying right now. Like she's just pulling them out and she's letting them go.
Ding, ding. Yeah.
No. All right, so that was close.
Shit. Sorry, I'll have to remember that next time. Sorry, I didn't know I could just add that on there.
All right,
and Mom, don't forget you can use your calm trait or your loner trait for yourself and get +1 die. Don't forget about those.
Use them against yourself if you can.
You can also use them against yourself, which is even better, because using them against yourself is how you recover during the camping phase. So if you have to use those against yourself.
I said I was calmly standing back, and it looked like a deer to me.
Did you want to use your?
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
I said calm.
Yeah, I think she did use that dice actually. So check used 4 against calm, so we know that you've used it.
Well, actually, I don't think I used a die for calm.
Roll the die though.
Should I roll another one?
Yeah,
well, he's already dead.
No, I thought you rolled it. Okay.
No.
She rolled 5.
That didn't work, but he's already dead anyway.
Okay. Well, you did use it for yourself, so.
All right, so check this out, guys. All right, so Violet, she fells a kobold, right in the throat with an arrow, and the kobolds are now hiding behind, these stalactites and stuff. These guys over here, some of them that came in from the tunnel across the way. Breck, you notice out of the corner of your eye, one of them is holding like this circular metallic device, it looks like, and it's got like this thread hanging off of it. And you see him the thread is lit, and it's like, oh my God, it's one of those bombs that I was told about. And he pulls it out, and the other ones around him kind of take a step back, and he reaches back, over his shoulder as if to like throw it at you, and he drops it on the ground, and it explodes. Boom! It blows up him and all these other 3 kobolds.
Oh my God.
But the ground shakes and rocks and pebbles are falling from the ceiling on top of you.
Party lets out a general cheer. There's a cheer comes up. Ah!
I bet that dog is shaking it. All right, he must be terrified.
So we see Pingsley kind of lurking and sneaking up into the shadows here. Let's see what happens. It's maneuver against defend.
Boom.
Perfect. Okay.
So
can we help Pingsley?
Yeah. So maneuver in a kill conflict. Look at the old conflict table here. Kill maneuver is a health check. It's a health test.
However, I'm going to use my nature instead.
I will allow that. Yeah, it's a stealthy kind of thing you're
'Cause
trying
I'm
to do here.
sneaking up to the brazier and kicking it over.
Okay.
Onto their faces.
All right, and they
Exactly.
have okay, so what can help
My
help
nature.
sneaking? Let's look at help here for a second.
Well, that's not a skill.
No, it's not, is it?
What are you doing, Alex? You're
I'm sneaking up to the brazier
maneuvering?
and I'm kicking it over.
So you're using a sneak skill?
I'm using my nature, which my nature descriptor is sneaking, riddling, and merrymaking, but I'm sneaking, so I get to
Oh.
use my nature of 5, and I get to use that. However, I do lose a die because I am injured, and so it's a little bit harder for me to sneak.
So do Angie or Lee, do you think you have anything that could help an action like that as far as a wise, perhaps, or maybe a skill that might help Pingsley sneak up there somehow? Or a tool of some kind that Pingsley too, do you have any like tools that might help you out in sneaking?
Okay.
Survivalist?
What I would need is distractions.
Maybe not.
You know.
I use the good old criminal wise skill to assist him exactly like that. I know what he's trying to do. I see it immediately. I'm like, I see what you're doing, man. So I do exactly that. I'm like, look over here, dumbasses. You know,
All right. Yeah. Okay. So
I kill your family and your mothers.
all right. So Breck hands Pingsley a help die with a criminal wise.
Cool. Do my stained slippers on my feet help me sneak?
No.
Okay. Mom, are you gonna help in any way?
Yeah, I'd start singing a song.
Oh,
Okay.
that's a good distraction.
Yeah, I start singing.
Freak them out.
Okay, cool.
Hush,
Yeah,
little
singing.
kobold, don't say a word. Mama's
Oh yeah.
gonna shoot you a mockingbird.
6.
All right, cool. So there you got the help die from Violet.
Alright,
Let's see,
so
the,
that's
the,
total
the
of
kobolds
6
are gonna
dice.
have, let's see, nature 2, plus 1, 2, 3 help.
Dude, I'm gonna use my persona to tap my nature as well, so I get an additional 5, baby, and it's in my nature, so I don't lose one.
Yeah. Well, remember the best you can get with maneuver is a margin of success of 3.
Well, 11 dice better get me that.
Well, actually, you can go above and beyond that. Yeah.
Yeah, I can
Dang.
actually buy all of them.
Yeah, you can.
Do it.
All right, so that's 11 dice, baby.
Their world, man.
3, 4. They get 5.
At least I think
Coals,
it's
hot
11,
coals.
right? Is that persona to tap my nature, or is it fate?
It's persona.
Okay. Boom! Oh my god, I only got 4 successes.
Okay. There's a margin of success of 3. So you could either disarm that kobold there. You can disarm them from a sling, or you could impede them, give them -1 dice on their next action, and gain position, gain +2 dice on your next action.
+2.
And then once you decide, you figure out what this looks like with the whole brazier debacle.
Okay. And I only disarm one person, huh?
That's right.
Okay. I'm gonna choose to gain position and impede.
Okay.
So here's what this looks like. Pingsley is going to sneak up to the brazier with all the loud distractions behind him. He's gonna kick it right on top of him. Boo! But they dodge off to the side. However, that gives us the better position because this means that there's only 1 or 2 maybe right next to our fighter while the others are behind him, and it impedes them because obviously now there's a bunch of charcoal and fire on the ground, so they can't get a good position. They're dancing on the fire. They have to get out of that.
Yeah, I guess somehow from your vantage point, the brazier just kind of starts tipping and stuff. You don't even see Pingsley somewhere in the shadows.
Boof.
All right, cool. So again, defend, guys. When you get a good margin of success, and success is undefended, it adds to your disposition. So let's see there. So let me make sure the disposition's right. I think they actually lost one, so they should be at 4. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're good. All right, so let's set it up for the next round. I'm going to pick my cards. You guys can pick yours.
I'll put a kobold up here, I guess. Okay, so remember now, Brett gets +2 dice, right? And they get -1.
That's correct, because of your maneuver. That's what these little tokens here will represent. +2 dice, +1 dice, or -1 dice.
Excellent.
All right.
Kill.
All right, I got mine.
All right, I'm gonna faint him. What are you guys doing?
Always gonna faint.
Was that how that works? The Breck now gets the +2 dice, or I get +2 dice?
Breck will get +2 dice because the maneuver counts towards the next action.
Cool. Okay.
Nice.
All right, so let's flip them. It's another attack maneuver. All right, so Breck, you're going to roll fighter for attack. Kobolds are going to get 2, 3, 4, 5 dice. -1, they're going to get 4 dice. Measly 4.
I'll pass you one.
Although, they get +2 dice on maneuvers because of their sling, so they really get 6.
So I have 4. I have 4 base. I get +2, so that's 6. I have injury, so that's -, so that's 5. I'll use a persona point, so that'll bring it up to. Does anybody want to help me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've helped.
And actually, the exhausted counts as -1 success. It's not dice. It's just you're going to get -1 success on your roll.
So what does that just cancel out as weapon +1?
No, you just get -1 success. It
So
kind of, I guess
5,
so.
6. So I'm up to 4, 5, 6. So I'm up to 7, and if you guys help, that's 8, 9. That'll give me 9 dice.
Yes. Yes.
Nice.
Kingsley's kicking a coal at his face. Bah!
Yeah, so technically, because you're exhaustedly from moving all that furniture and shit earlier, the -1 success from exhausted kind of cancels out your +1 success for your sword in a way. All right, so it's going to be 6. They get 6, and you get, was it 8 or 9?
9. Yeah.
9. All right, roll 9. Oh, they roll 1 success.
Oh my god.
Oh, Brett gets 3. You added the dice for the maneuver, right? From Kingsley's maneuver, the 2 dice?
Yes, I did.
Okay. All right, so that's a margin of success of 2. So your attack does 2 damage. Boink. Boink. Their disposition goes to 2.
Aha!
You scum. Die.
Gonna take this guy out over here. All right, next action.
Oh boy. Attack, attack. That's good for you, Mom.
Yeah, because with the bow on attack, it's a versus test. So it's going to be a fighter roll for you, Ange.
Yeah, you guys helping me out?
Of course.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I only got a fighter 3, so that's 5 dice. That's what I had last time. How many you got there, Mr. Kobold?
They're down to 3. They have a nature of 2, and he gets +1 help.
So he's got 4, huh?
3, actually.
All right, I'm gonna just go with the 5 and just pray I don't get smashed.
Told you kobolds weren't very good at straight up fights.
I don't think I'm gonna use my persona.
No. Okay.
I mean, unless you guys think
yourself.
You can burn it. I mean,
Or
if you need to burn them.
You can use it.
Or against.
Yeah, you could use a trait against yourself if you feel that. How many dice is the kobold getting?
All right, so I
3.
really lose my cool and I start screaming at this thing and die, motherfucker. And then I roll.
So are you using calm against yourself?
That's pretty much what I just did.
Okay, if you use calm against yourself, you lose a die.
I do.
Or you give him +2 dice, or you can break ties in an enemy's favor, but that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and the reason why you would do that is, Angie, it would give you checks to use in the camp phase to help recover
Yeah.
and do things in camp.
All right, screw you, kobold! I got freaking 3.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I
Nice!
lost my cool, man.
Beautiful.
All right. So they do 2 damage to you,
No.
and you do.
What?
No.
Oh, it's a versus. It's a versus test. I'm
versus.
sorry. Because of the old bow.
Yeah.
You're ranging them. All right, so that's going to take them out.
That's gonna take one of them out, right?
It was 3. They only had
3 to 2.
2 left.
I know. 2 minus 3 is 1. Or 3 minus 2 is
Oh.
1.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. Math is hard.
Can I continue with an action right now?
So, Mom, you need to mark on
Before
your character
Kingsley.
sheet that you used calm against yourself.
Okay. Yeah, got that. Okay.
Yep. So you've got another check for camp.
Can I?
Good.
Can after I do that, can I like do something real quick?
Well, you can describe it to me. I mean, you're.
I mean, like, so I'm just like, die, motherfucker, and then he dies, and then I like slink back up against the wall, and I start like hiding my way over. Like I can hide really good, and I'm gonna start moving my way towards that little girl because we're clearing this place out pretty much. We're down to one
Okay.
dude. I think I
The
can
room
get
is
over
now.
there now.
Yeah. The room from the brazier kind of being tipped and the bomb going off. The room's kind of full. It's a little bit hard to see. You don't actually see the little girl anymore from where you are. You know what direction she's in. So yeah, you can start moving over in that direction.
But you know
kind of
what?
looking for her.
Here's what I'm doing. I'm freaking putting my picking up my backpack, picking up the lantern. I got my bow put back away just for now, and I start moving with the lantern off the top of the stalagmite, and I'm starting to move towards the girl.
Very cool. You guys see the smoking, smoldering remains of these blown up kobolds. 2 of them are still moving, and apparently it looks like they're kind of trying to crawl back into the tunnel, on their bellies. They're all burned and fucking there's
Right. And
blood everywhere.
I also want to do, hold on, I want to do one more real quick thing here. Okay. So, okay. And then I remember I remember Captain Jack, and I'm like, shit, this dog's got to be freaked out. So I just like, I get out my rope and I put it around his neck like a leash. And I bring him with me with the lantern. So I got the dog leash in one hand, the lantern in the other, the backpack on my back, and I'm moving towards the girl. Just so you know what's happening.
Okay.
I got the dog.
Let's do my action here.
Trying to protect him.
Excellent. All right, Captain Jack is following you.
Kill Pinksley, kill.
All right, they get an attack versus your feint. That means you don't test L. He gets 2 nature dice. Oh, so he's going to be able to do some damage. He might be able to take you out.
Can I use my... I guess I can't. Wait, maybe I can. Hold on.
Can you help him in his feint?
No. The thing is that attack trumps feint, Lee. If you look at the table, it says attack versus feint. Or wait a minute. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Feint. Yeah, feint versus attack doesn't get to roll.
Who used feint?
Attack trumps feint,
shit.
and feint trumps defend.
Oh, Alex.
You don't even get to roll. It gets 1 success, Pingsley, so you get bopped in the head by a stone.
Hold on.
Doesn't he get to roll if he has feint?
He doesn't get to roll. No.
Yeah, I can use my armor.
You can.
Helmet. No, better yet, leather armor. When I take a hit, I can roll a d6. On a 4 or more, I gain the benefit of armor, which is -1
there you
success
go.
to the attacker. So let's do that.
Okay. He's rolling for his leather armor. And he gets a 4.
Nice.
Yeah.
Success?
Oh, that's
Yes.
sweet.
Success. Excellent. Yes.
Yeah. Leather armor protects you. Excellent.
There we go.
Good job, leather armor.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we're badass.
Don't get cocky.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I think this is going to be the last round here. Let's see what he's going to do here. Now there is an optional rule in the rule book for fleeing from conflicts. But usually you're supposed to say, okay, are we going to use the flee rule in this conflict before the conflict happens? And we didn't. So he's going to fight it out with you guys. See what he does. So he's really going to, technically, conceivably, he could take 3 actions this round. He survives.
Open his grill with my sword.
Boy, he's pretty desperate. You guys haven't lost any disposition.
Kill.
They're down to 1.
It's because we roll good when we're together.
Yep. All right. Here we go. It's the Alamo. The Alamo phase. All right, I got mine.
Oh, sorry. Well, am I fighting even though I'm going after that girl right now? I guess.
Yeah,
I have
technically you're still in the conflict. Yep.
All right, so I guess I'll use my rope if I have to. I still have that spell. Would that be a maneuver? You know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah, I mean, and a maneuver is actually a pretty good action to take in a situation like this because it's safe. Maneuver is again, it's always a versus roll against attack and defend, and nothing really trumps it. You know.
I'm putting it on maneuver because I don't have my bow on right now.
Cool. All right, Breck, here we go.
You do have your bow for this conflict.
This thing loads another stone into its sling, and he's targeting you, Breck. Let's see if he can hit you. Oh, it's attack versus attack. So
the
this
conflict
is
still going on, so we're still in the combat, so you do still have your bow.
Right.
Oh, okay. So I really shouldn't say I'm doing something until after we're completely done with all the monsters.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought they would all be dead by now, but
Yeah.
I have a fighter.
I trust Breck will get it.
Yeah. So this is an independent roll, so any successes you get are going to do damage to his disposition. Any successes he gets is going to do damage to your disposition. He only gets 2 dice, unfortunately, for his nature.
Hey, do these guys get to help me in my fighter skill?
Of course.
Absolutely.
I kick another coal.
It's dog pile time. The poor, helpless little kobold. He looks like a young one, too.
Oh, good. Gotta kill them when they're young. Problems.
Yeah. Again, he looks terrified. It's like his life is flashing before his eyes right now. Boom.
It flashes for a second. My sword chops his head clean off.
Shink. All right. So the room is full of smoke now, and sort of this acrid smell of this black smoke that has come from this bomb that was set off in here. Clear this out here.
You know, we didn't suffer any disposition. I don't think we should take any damage at all.
That is true. You guys completely achieve your goal. Kill them all. And they completely they completely fail their goal and capture the intruders. So there really is no compromise. You guys don't have to give them any compromise since you didn't lose any disposition. I think you kind of showed him who's boss there. So let me just double check. Yeah, that's the end of the conflict. So now you see 2 mostly dead kobolds still trying to kind of crawl their way back into the passageway up to the north and the other side of the room from where you came in.
I don't let them do that. I stop them.
All right, the old coup de grace. All right.
Yeah, with the sword to the back of the head.
All right. Out of the smoke and rubble, Violet, a little girl comes out of the shadows, and she's crying. There's tear coming out of her eyes, and she's looking at you. You can see her hands are shaking, her lips are quivering. She looks absolutely terrified.
Oh,
Safe
and
now.
I'm like, oh my poor darling, and I grab her and I kind of put her underneath the back of my cloak, and I say, just grab onto me.
She says,
And she's gonna,
she says, I want my daddy.
okay, we'll try to find your daddy. We'll try to find him. Just stay calm and just hold on to me.
She says, Ronwald, the innkeeper, is preparing to roast my father for the kobolds. They're making him cook the prisoners.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're going to take care of it. As you can see, we clearly are able to take care of these kobolds. We'll take care of the next set of kobolds too.
She goes, what are kobolds?
Well, they're scary lizard people.
Violet, we don't have time for this. We have to go. I rush to the door.
Okay, let's look at the map for a second here. There is no door, technically. This is sort of a cavernous area.
Well, you said there was a door that led into the...
Before anything happens, after she picks up the little girl, like, remember to check for traps. These fucking things, and they're traps.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that reminds me.
It's like, be careful, traps. He stops. Okay. He's like, be careful, everyone.
That reminds me. There's one thing that we didn't do for the conflict. That conflict took a turn, so the grind now goes to boom turn 8, which everyone earns a condition.
Okay. First one is always hungry and thirsty, right?
Yep. It's in this order. So everybody gets hungry and thirsty from that conflict.
Okay. I'd like to right now just start exploring the area more. Like I've got the girl, I got the dog, and I got the lantern. I'm looking around. I want to see if there's anything we missed in this room. Do they have any?
We have to.
That's kind of what Lee was saying. I think he was saying he'd like to search, and scout.
Yeah.
For
right.
traps.
She's looking for traps. I'm just looking around for anything too.
Does anybody have any oil?
Yeah, I have oil.
Okay.
For the lantern.
I have water and food. Do we need to eat now?
No.
Well, hold on a second. Hold on. Who's putting light on the lantern?
Me.
So you're using a flask of oil now.
Lee said he's using a flask of oil.
All right, mark that flask of oil off. All right. So just to clarify, Alex had a question about the room. This is all a natural cavern in here. The entranceway that you guys came into here is natural. The exit to the next area where the sounds were coming from it's just a natural cave passageway, Alex. There's no door in this room.
Okay.
Look, can I just say I'd like, before we go in there, Sean, I mean, I need to give the dog and me and the little girl some water. She probably hasn't had anything to drink.
Okay, there's nothing, you don't seem to be any imminent danger right now. So you feel free to spend
water. Okay,
water, wine, or food, one of any, to cure yourself of the.
I'm doing that right now.
I can cook a meal later when we camp, so that we don't have to spend so much food.
You can cook a meal now by taking the grind.
We really, really need to get up there. They're killing the parents of this kid in that room up ahead.
Well, let me ask you. I know, but I'm worried about the little girl.
She actually said that Ronwald, the innkeeper, is preparing to roast her father for the kobold.
Yeah.
Is what she said.
Right. I know. Well, I'm not talking about like sitting down and having a meal. I'm just saying like, if I take a drink though, does that get rid of hungry and thirsty, or do you have to drink and eat? Okay,
Yes,
so I took a drink.
Yeah, either a drink or a food we'll take away.
Okay, well, I'll take it off. All right, now we're on our way.
Okay, you need to mark that on your token here. So hungry and thirsty's gone. Anybody else eating or drinking?
I'll also drink my wines again, I guess.
Okay, and track your conditions on your character sheet as well, guys. We'll check
I am.
Okay. So Alex, you can remove the thirsty icon from your.
Okay.
You have some preserved rations, Lee. Is that what you're eating?
I burned them.
All right. How are we doing on rations? You guys getting low? Must be getting low. I know.
I hope not, because I can.
I've got 2 preserved rations. I have 2 preserved rations, Alex.
Okay. All right, so we've gone through 8 turns so far, so the grind has ticked. So now you guys said, what are you going to do now? I think Lee had mentioned that he'd like to search for traps. Angie said that she'd like to kind of scout the area. Pingsley's eyeing that passageway up there.
I think we have to go for the passage and search. I think we have to search the passage for traps while we travel down it.
Yeah, I'm all about that.
Right. And there's nothing in this room of any interest to us before we leave it.
There might be, but we don't have time to search it right now. They're killing people.
You're right. I'm sorry. Okay.
At this point, the screaming sounds and the whip cracking has stopped. You're not hearing anything.
Oh,
All you're hearing is just kind of the crackling of the coals, the remaining coals from the brazier on the ground, kind of crackling and steaming.
We're checking for traps as we move down this passageway, and we're being very quiet and stealthy.
Okay. All right, that's going to be a scout test to search for traps.
Okay. Can I help with? Can I help with criminal for trap stuff?
I got scout.
Oh,
Correct.
okay, so
you can have one.
Or I guess I'll help. Yeah, I'll help with scout.
No, I don't have scout. I don't have scout.
Oh, I can scout then.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. I always thoroughly search unexplored areas by instinct.
Go. Right.
And you don't have to use your.
So we don't have to roll for that.
Yeah.
We do have to roll for it. We just don't. We do have to roll for it. We just don't get a grind.
Yeah, no grind. So should we just let me be kind of looking around for that?
Okay, sure.
Can we help with that, Sean?
Absolutely.
Okay.
What helps scout? Let's look at help for helping here. Scout, Pathfinder, and Hunter help scout. More relevant wise.
Okay, Hunter.
Captain Jack would normally be able to help with that too, but he's scared.
I'll help with
I
scout.
gotta get him out of that scared mode. All right. So you got something too for me there, Brack?
Actually, I don't know, man.
That's gonna be a 4 scout, but we're not gonna take the grind. But I don't want to run into another trap, guys. It'd be bad news if we do.
We won't take the grind because you're using
searching.
instinct.
I know, but I mean, we could lose the roll. I only have 4 dice.
If we lose the roll, then that just means we suck. So, yeah, I will help.
Do I just need 1 success? Is that it, Sean, to be a pass?
Whatever the ob is.
Hang on a second. I gotta go pee.
What's your base scout skill?
Yes, it's only a 2. So if you guys help me, I've got a 4. It looks like.
So do you have a persona point? You might want to save that for combat, I guess, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I want. I don't know, man.
Well, there might be nothing, which is fine.
Roll the 4.
AFK 1 sec. I'll be right back.
Yeah, but he said like they are trap crazy. They love traps.
You can roll the 4, and if you roll any 6s, you can burn a fate point.
Yeah.
That's probably the most reasonable thing.
I agree with that.
I got 1. I don't know what the ob is. Is that 4 dice?
Yeah, that's 4 dice.
I got 2 successes,
Yeah,
so I got 5 and a 4.
That's
That's pretty good.
good. 50-50 split it. Yeah, that's good.
I hope that's good, but it'd be like ob 2, and then I'm like screwed.
Well, I think the DM has the option of keeping obs secret, especially for things like searching areas. And
I got 2 successes, Sean.
I don't think he's here.
Yeah, he is. He's coming back right now.
All right, I'm back. All right, you got 2 successes. Well, that's
Yeah,
good because
of
with
the
an
option of keeping the ob secret.
No, not really. No, we should definitely figure the factors and give you the ob. The ob was 2. So
Well, I
you
got 2
succeeded.
successes.
Okay, so make sure you check a pass for scout. Also, guys, during that conflict, during a conflict, you can generally check the skill that you pass, the first skill that you do a successful test on during the conflict. You can check it as a success or failure. So I think Lee, you should probably check fighter for a success,
Yeah.
Wait, I have
Hey.
a question.
Yeah.
Can she use her trait Lone Wolf, or I guess Lone Wolf would be the most appropriate, against herself to break this tie in the favor of the obstacle?
No, that's only in versus Testo's. No,
Okay.
you can only break ties in versus.
I have a quick question too.
So hold on, let me finish what I was doing. So Violet, make sure you check a success for fighter. And Pingsley, I think you rolled for your nature, right?
I did.
So so check a success for nature.
Oh.
So during each conflict, you should get one advancement, for whatever skills you used.
Right.
Okay, so you succeeded with your Okay.
Can I ask a question real quick
yeah.
about that? So like we have all these pass and fail boxes. Again, like if I get all like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 6 like boxes next to fighter. If I check all of those, what happens?
Okay, so to increase your fighter skill, you need a number of successful checks equal to your current skill, and you need a number of failures equal to your current skill minus 1.
Oh, so so once I get 3 checks in fighter, on the next one I get 4, or on the third one?
Well, your fighter is what?
3.
So you need 3 successes and 2 failures, and once you get that, your fighter skill goes up 1.
Interesting.
Are you marking those and for every action and every combat? In other words.
No, not for conflicts. Right. You'll get 1. You generally get 1 per conflict, and it's usually the first roll that you make during the conflict. Unless there's a skill that you're ready, you only need 1 more pass or failure to increase, you can save it for that one. But during the grind, for each turn, for each roll, everybody should be checking a pass or fail on every roll that you make. So don't forget to do that. So guys, there are no apparent traps in this chamber. However, you find some loot. We'll make some loot rolls here.
Oh, good.
You find some gear.
What kind of gear? Oh, you're rolling on the table in there, huh?
Yeah, I love the Torchbearer tables. Glad I finally get to roll here. Let's see. Interesting.
What is it?
Ooh.
Good.
I like the sound of that.
In one of the corners of the chamber, underneath some of the rubble, Angie, the elf with her keen eyes, you see what appears to be a human foot sticking up out of the rubble as if someone's been buried under there.
Oh my god.
It looks like a kind of a torn up leather boot.
All right,
underneath the rubble.
Me and Captain Jack start digging. The dog's like digging the rubble away.
As a matter of fact, that's one of Captain Jack's nature descriptors, by the way. The hound dog has hunting, running, and digging. Yeah, he's good at digging.
Yeah.
So Captain Jackie's sniffing. It is going. Yes, this will take the grind up. Thank you.
Well, will digging take the check?
No. He's a beast. Okay. He doesn't have skills. He just has nature. Okay. So you start digging, and it looks like almost the skeletal remains of a human is under here, Angie. And you kind of dig up. He's like wearing what's left of his clothing is kind of rotted and torn. And then you see the shine of some kind of metal. And it looks like this person was wearing a chainmail shirt.
Ooh. Yep. How big is he? Is it about the size of Breck?
He's human. It's slightly rusted, but it looks actually serviceable. The poor guy looks like he died, and his skull and his bones are all crushed and broken. It looks like he died in some kind of a rock slide or collapse at some point, and it looks like he's been here for quite a while.
Wow. Well, I reach down and say, "Hey guys, check this out," and I start sliding. I reach down and start sliding the chainmail over his skull.
Okay, you're able to free the chain shirt from his corpse. Roll sanity. Just kidding.
Roll sanity.
And yes, you have a serviceable chain shirt that can be used. It counts as chainmail.
Sweet. Well, this looks like something I can't really wear. Is this something you could wear, Pingsley?
Well, look under your class abilities. It should be at the bottom of your sheet. I'm not. I think elves can wear chainmail. Let's look at it here.
I don't know. I don't think so, dude. But you might be right. What are you looking at? Gear? No, not gear.
It'll be on your character sheet at the bottom. Underneath your, you should have listed it under here. Level 1 can use bow, sword, dagger, and leather armor. It says. I don't know if that you start with leather armor if you can have chain. I can check and see if elves can wear chain real quick here.
Chainmail.
You told me that I can't even start out with leather armor.
Well, if you don't have armor, then you should take it.
I had to wear a cloak because you said I couldn't even start with that because I'm so lowly.
Yeah. Well, I think what it is, you can use leather armor. You just didn't start with it. Right.
Yeah, but I don't think I can wear chainmail.
Elves can use leather and chainmail.
Oh, really?
Of course, Breck, you can use any armor. Halflings can use leather, chainmail, helmet, and shield.
That chainmail on.
Chainmail's nice. It works like leather armor, but you get to use it more than once in a conflict, which is nice. It gives -1 success to attacks and feints against you.
That.
I don't have anything.
But every time you're hit, we roll a die, and if it's a 4 or higher, the chainmail becomes damaged. It needs to be repaired.
Well, let me ask.
Warhammers.
Is it better than what Breck has right now?
Mom, you should take it. You don't have armor.
Oh, I would.
You should. Yeah, you don't have armor. You should put it on.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna. What about the cloak? I guess I have to get rid of that.
Just discard it.
Okay, and just put on chainmail.
Yeah, I think chain takes slot 1, I believe.
Dad, it's the other way around. After taking a hit, the armor is damaged on 1 to 3 and provides no.
Well, that's right. Yeah, the card actually says 4 or higher armor is undamaged. Note that maces and warhammers bypass chain.
Oh, really?
And it only benefits you in kill, capture, conflicts only.
Yeah, it's definitely worse than leather armor.
It's kill, drive off, and capture
something.
conflicts, I believe.
It's better than a cloak, I'd say.
Yeah, so I hand the little girl my cloak and I say, "Here, use this to hide under if you need it." We don't know what we're coming up against.
Ah, you give the girl her elven cloak.
Yep.
It's not really an elven cloak. It's a cloak.
Well, it's a cloak. She could hide under it if she needed to or something.
Well, you know what
I'm
I
just
mean.
telling her to help.
Elven cloaks are actually magical kind of items. Yeah, chainmail's torso, worn 1.
I got it.
Okay, cool. So I'll deal the card.
Thanks, guys.
Here.
That way, I didn't have anything, so that'll help me a little bit in the future here.
For sure.
Excellent.
Okay, so let's move on.
Okay. Okay. So let's look at the map down here.
Screaming. We don't hear the screaming anymore. You said that stopped.
No. Nope,
oh, that's not a good sign at all.
No. Let me look at my map too. It might help.
I asked the little girl, "What is your name?"
Elsa. What's yours?
Violet.
Pretty. She says, "What's yours, pretty lady?"
Violet Fayhorn.
She goes. She kind of looks over at Pingsley. Is he kind of not looking? He goes, "Is he a midget?"
He's a really good cook, so once we get you out of here, he's going to make you a really good dinner.
She says, "Violet, I'm hungry."
We're going to take care of that soon. We need to try to save your daddy first. Just stay quiet.
Okay. I want to go home. I want my daddy. Here we go. So now Violet has a little girl and a hound dog following her around. The little girl's also afraid and hungry and thirsty.
Not thirsty. I gave her water.
Thank you. She's still afraid. And afraid simply means that you can't help, I believe. All right, so yeah, there's only, so looking at the map again, let's get down here. I wanted to point something out to you guys just to be clear. So this pit down here that Kingsley fell into, there did appear to be a passage that continues down past the pit. It appears the cave, the passageway kind of drops off at a steep angle past the pit, but it looks like it kind of continues. You see it continues down into darkness. Also, back over here, where you guys had found the crumbling brick wall behind the cistern, behind the well or the spigot, that tunnel also continues. You have not explored that. That can kind of
Apparently,
continues.
we're afraid of descending places because both of those
does
go down.
Yeah,
We just turned away from those places, didn't we?
Yeah, it's this rough, damp, kind of dank-looking passageway that descends downward. So you no longer hear the screaming up here in this passageway to the north. What are you guys doing now?
We're continuing down that passage.
Okay.
And you guys are using.
Yep. Yeah, I assume that you guys kind of look for traps already in that passageway.
Yeah.
The passageway kind of curves around to the right, and you see another larger chamber before you. It's also lit in dim light, and you see a number of kobolds hiding. They seem to have taken cover behind some of the furniture in this room. This appears to be some kind of barbaric parody of court, okay, that the kobolds have set up here. In the room, you see an ornate high-backed chair sitting in the center of the chamber. It's kind of a roughly circular chamber, though no one is sitting in the high-backed chair at the moment. You can see several female kobolds near the left side of the room, hiding behind an upturned table. They have feathers and bone piercings in their ears and their faces. And you see 6 more kobolds. They appear to be males, kind of interspersed about the room, also hiding behind stalagmites. And these male kobolds are wrapped in these colorful sarongs.
Are they afraid of us because of what just happened? Did they know what happened, or why are they hiding?
They appear to be just kind of seeing, just looking at the passageway as you guys are kind of, moving into the room. Or not into the room, but looking out of the passageway at them. They seem to be just kind of taking cover, kind of expecting you guys to come in there. But they're not doing anything at the moment. But there's more. So the couple of these tables in the room have been turned over, and some of them are taking cover behind these tables. In the middle of the room near the chair, there is a table that has not been turned over. And on top of the table, you see a naked male kobold bound to the table by his wrists and ankles. And it looks like he has bloody slashes all over his body, as if he's been whipped. And on the ground next to the table, you see what appears to be a human. He looks like he's alive. He's moving, but he's lying there, and you kind of hear him groaning. He's like, you see, he seems to be missing his left foot. There's a stump at the end of his left leg, and it's wrapped in bloody rags. And then you notice the severed foot lying nearby. As you kind of enter the dim light of this room, there are also a couple of braziers in this room giving off some light, and your lantern is as well. One of the females begins croaking and yipping at you.
I run forward and smash her face.
Breck's like, die, fucker.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it sounds like another conflict to me.
Much, man.
Okay, so what's lighting this room? Anything?
It's dim, but since you guys have a lantern, or I believe Violet's holding a lantern.
Right, but what's lighting the room?
Dim.
And I turn to the little girl and I say, "Stay back with Captain Jack and don't follow."
But
into
what is
this room.
lighting the room? What is making the
braziers?
room?
2 of them, 2 large braziers in the room.
Okay. Do we know if kobolds have night vision? Dark vision?
Breck's not sure, but he would know from his experience as a hunter that most creatures that live underground or dwell underground, which kobolds do, can at least have kind of dim light vision. Yeah, they can see in the dark pretty well. Some of them more than others, but it's hard to say about these guys right now.
Okay. I mean,
Let me
obviously
pop
they
some
need
in
some
here.
sort of light, or else why would they even have braziers at all? So, okay, just to be clear on the layout of the room, it's a big square room. In the middle, we have one kobold who's been tied down and looks like a prisoner, and then off to the side we have another human being who has been shackled and is missing a foot.
That's correct.
And you say that
Yeah.
it's a grim mockery of court, so is there like a raised area, or?
Well, there's just this sort of throne in the middle of the room. It's like a high-backed chair. And the females in here are really decked out in like these feather costumes and bone piercings and shit. And all the males are wearing these colorful, like rainbow colored sarongs and shit. So it looks like they're having some kind of event going on in here until you guys interrupted it.
Okay.
All right. Either they like to be like beaten up or something, or that might be the king that they're trying to just subdue and take over or something.
Yeah,
Maybe
do you
they
think
have them.
we interrupted a mutiny? Like a Caesar moment here?
Probably just getting ready to eat the. They probably chop the foot off. They're probably getting ready to throw it on a brazier to eat it.
Well, why is the other one? I don't know. Whatever. We'll leave that one alive.
Well, like I said, one of the kobolds is actually tied to the table. Looks like he's been whipped. I don't know.
He did something they didn't like.
Yeah, it might just be a servant. I don't know.
Yep.
Could be.
Okay, so all of these kobolds, you can see that some of them are armed with spears, slings. They all have pretty good cover standing back there behind this furniture that they've turned up, and there are some stalagmites, stalactites in here. Not so much as in the last room. I'm not going to give you the lantern bonus on this one. You're not going to be able to set your lantern down on a stalagmite this time.
Okay.
All right.
What's
I drop
the plan,
the backpack
folks?
back with the dog and the girl, and I say, "Stay put," and draw my bow.
Okay. Sounds like Breck's just charging in for the win here.
I set the lantern.
Scream at the top of my lungs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
it's the males actually kind of seem to the males kind of shrink away and duck their heads back behind their cover. The females don't seem so intimidated by you, Breck. They're readying their spears and such.
Now, Dad, in line with my previous question, I don't want to make it too gamey, but
no, let's do. It's a game.
Would sneaking around the room for like an opportunity to backstab someone or to get behind them and like slit their throat, that sort of skullduggery,
that's too individual. This is why we keep this is why the conflicts are designed to be very broad in their scope.
I know, but
that's something that you would do during the conflict with an action.
But let me finish my question. Does that allow me to use sneak again, like my nature, for a combat attack?
I mean, to me, yeah. I mean, sneak seems relevant to combat conflicts in some ways, especially for someone who's sneaky. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a thief backstab kind of thing back in old D&D.
See, that's what I'm asking about. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it may be kind of gaming the system a little bit. It really depends.
Then again, it might not be, because I mean, if I use that too much, then eventually I'm just going to become so hobbitly that I'm just going to retire.
Well, how about this? How about if I allow you to use your sneak nature for just certain actions? How about maneuver and feint? How about that? That makes sense to me.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense to me too.
Okay.
I mean, if somebody's, attacking me, how the heck,
All right. So what's the intent here, guys? We've triggered another conflict. What is the team's intent here?
Kill them all.
Oh.
Yeah. We're in kill mode tonight.
Is there only one entrance into this place?
There's the way you came back, the way you came in. And actually, there are 2 other exits out of this room. One to the north that leads into a kind of a wide-mouthed tunnel beyond the throne. And to your right, it looks like a more narrow passage kind of slinks off to the east and descends slightly. It kind of goes down into
Guess we're not going that way.
There's something about going down. I just... Yeah, so there's 2 exits out of here besides the way you guys came in.
Okay.
Let's see, the kobold's goal.
Pretty demoralizing to know we cut through all their friends.
If they know that yet.
Yeah, but remember, there's some females, a good sized group of females who are a little more tough than the little guys here. I think they're gonna also try to see if they can capture some of you.
Uh-oh.
Capture the intruders and call for reinforcements. How about that? Or no, we're just gonna leave it at capture the intruders. Keep it simple. All right, so let me line these guys up. We're gonna roll for disposition again, Lee. You're the fighter in the group, so it's gonna be a fight test. You're gonna add your health with any help you can muster.
That would be me
So
helping.
My fighter is 4. I do have 1 more persona point I could burn.
Do you want me to move this down here, Sean, like this? We did before.
Sure.
I don't actually. I don't.
Yeah, I mean the order can change as well. So yeah, keep them kind of low so we have room for the cards. So let's see if there's 3. There's 12 kobolds. One thing that we didn't take into consideration in the last conflict that we need to try to remember is the order of might. Because there's 5 or more kobolds, they have a might of 2.
We didn't even take might into account when we were rolling, dude.
Yes, yeah, we need to remember. So you guys will get +1 success on all your rolls because of the might factor here. Just keep that in mind.
Who has? Where's the mic coming from? Sorry, I'm lost on that.
Adventurers are might 3. Kobolds are might 2. So each point of difference in might gives you an extra success. So since you guys have 1 more might than the kobolds do, you get a +1 success on all your rolls.
Mom, think of might as the size of the creature.
Yeah, like a dragon is might 6.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
So if you're fighting a dragon, the dragon gets +3 successes on all its rolls against you.
Right.
Okay.
So they're going to get nature 2 plus 11 help.
That's bad.
They get to roll 13 dice for their disposition.
Jesus.
Yeah, man. Kobolds.
Can you tap your nature for this disposition?
Absolutely. Breck is going to get -1 success for his exhaustion.
Breck, you may want to tap your nature, dude.
Right. When he says tap your nature, it means spending a persona point. You reduce your current nature by 1, but you get to roll all of your nature dice to add to your roll. You can get nature back when you're in town by paying all your debt. It's not very frequently that you get to actually get nature back.
What?
But a low nature is not.
Nature tonight.
Yeah, low nature is not terrible. High nature is not terrible either. It's just.
Well, yeah, it is because it's dice, dude.
That's fighting.
It is dice. Yeah.
4.
One advantage of having a lower nature, though, is your beginner's luck tests are easier to learn new skills with.
Correct.
So there is kind of it's a 2-edged sword there. But I wouldn't get worried too much unless you're at 1 or 2 nature. You might want to conserve it at that point. But
or 5 or 6, dude. What's it? The maximum 7?
I'll burn it. I'll burn that. So I get 4 for that. I have 4 fighter.
So +2 for help. So that's 6 +1 for our might advantage, so that's you said 4, 5, 7. Then you add your nature, which is what? 4, 5, 4. So that would be 11. Minus
right. You
1.
use the
exhausted.
Yeah, use the nature dice before it's reduced. You know what I'm saying?
So we're
Did he
at
even
10
add his
dice.
own in? He would add his own fight too, or no?
Yeah, we're at 10 dice.
So it's exactly.
Sounds good.
10. That's pretty good.
And then he's adding that to his health.
Oh,
and they
plus
get
health.
Yep, they get 13.
Wow.
Here we go.
You probably got a.
Well,
health.
this is good. Oh.
Oh shoot.
Good. What's that mean?
Not a great roll by the kobolds.
10 dice. Did you add your health, Lee?
My health is 5, so add 5
more. Yeah, roll 5 more.
That'd be
No, you don't.
plus.
You don't.
Oh.
No, you don't. Yeah, you don't roll your health. You just add your health.
That's
Okay.
5. Yeah.
So we have 9.
That's right. Team disposition 9. So that's going to give each of you 3 hit points. I can do that for you real quick here.
Okay.
And as we can see, the kobolds rolled rather terribly. They get 6.
Well, that's just
So
under. That's about half, Dad. That's not terrible.
No, it's
No,
not.
that's
It's not too terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, so now at this point you want to choose your weapon. And Lee, you would announce with your sword what action you're going to use your bonus on for that, even though it is canceled out by your exhaustion. I'm not sure if it really matters, but
attack, of course.
Of course. The kobolds, these first 3 here are using slings. Actually, we're going to have this guy use a spear. These guys will use slings. I'm going to put out my first 3 cards here. Go ahead and start picking your cards, guys. 1, 2, 3.
Need to put my sword out too.
You don't have to. You can. You can select the sword from the weapon deck over there to the right. Just hit choose, and you can drag it out onto the table if you like. Remember, you can select any cards or whatever and hit Z to zoom in on it. So right now you're kind of trying to guess too, like, what's the GM going to pick for these guys? And in what order? When you defend, by the way, it does add to your disposition, but you can never go above your starting disposition. So it's never a good idea to defend on the first. Well, I wouldn't say never a good idea to use it on the first action, but.
Dad, did you already choose?
I'm ready.
3? You're supposed to choose your 3, and then we can.
I'm looking.
discuss our
I know.
strategy.
I'm thinking.
Well, think like a kobold.
I am thinking like a kobold. They're trapping, lurking, and swarming. All right, here we go. All right, first action. The old attack versus maneuver. It's a versus test. Attack in a kill conflict, Lee, is fighter. So you're going to roll a fighter. We're going to get nature 2 plus 5 help. And he has a sling. So he gets +2 on maneuvers.
So I'll get 4 plus 2 for my help, and then I get a +1. That's negated, so I guess I have 6.
And because of your order of might, you're going to get +1 success, because your order of might is 1 higher than theirs.
Oh yeah, we got to remember that.
So make sure you add the extra success.
All right. So it's 7 total after I take away the condition.
Cool. They have 9. Nature 2 +2 for sling, maneuver, 4, 2, 3, 4 plus 4 help. That's actually 8. All right, so they've got 8. Go ahead and roll. Ooh, they beat you by 1.
Damn, that was a good
I roll any 6s. If I rolled any 6s, I'll re-roll them. I think I did. I rolled 1,
You
right?
did roll a 6.
A
Or
good
wait,
indicator for your if you roll a 6, the number will be bordered in green if you've rolled any 6s.
he got one.
I'll burn
You
a
did.
point.
All right, he's burning a fate point to re-roll that 6 to see if he can tie it up.
Oh, son of a goat.
So now that would have been a good opportunity for you to tie it, and then break the tie in their favor if you could use a trait against yourself. That way you'd get 2 checks, and they would only get to, impede you, give you -1 dice next turn or something like that. But they did beat you by 1, so they're going to impede your next action. So they're going to give you -1 on your next action over here, Violet.
Say what?
So the next, with their 1 margin of success on that maneuver roll.
Yeah.
Let me show you.
What's happening?
Okay, so look at the maneuver card. Did it pop up on your screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so look at the bottom there. It says margin of success. If it's 1, you can impede your enemy by giving them -1 dice on their next action. If your margin of success is 2, you can gain position by giving your team +2 dice on your next action. Or if the margin of success is 3, you can disarm them.
So they get to impede -1 die. Does that go to me now?
It goes to you on the next action.
So I get -1 die to whatever's
right.
going here. All right, are we ready to flip or what?
Yep. No damage was done on that round. All right, the old attack. Oh, and Vi's got her bow. Stupid hobgoblin. Stupid goblins. Kobolds.
Yeah, so I've got 3 fights. If you guys are helping, that'd be 5.
And then you get the
And how can I use my fate again?
To re-roll 6s, or to use a relevant wise to re-roll 1 failure.
I feel all right with 5, man. I can do this. I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
So
they get 7.
They get what?
Oh.
I have chainmail too, dude. Don't forget.
You get 6 because of the might. It's 5.
Thank you. Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Oh,
yep, because your might is 1 higher, you get that +1 extra. Actually, it says extra success, though, guys. It's not an extra die. It's a success, which is better.
So do I roll just 5 or 6?
Yeah, we need to try to remember to add these successes.
I'm just going to say 5 dice +1 after I roll.
All right. I hate to confuse you guys, but on that last roll, Lee, did we add that extra success to your roll? I don't think we did.
We didn't, no.
Okay, so technically that maneuver would not have been successful. So you don't get the -1 dice.
Yay. So I get 5 dice.
I'm sorry,
and then after I roll the 5 dice, we're going to add a +1
success. Yes, absolutely.
So
it's a versus test. They get 7 dice.
Why does he get an extra success?
Oh my gosh. Well, I got 4.
4-4. It's a tie.
Uh-oh. What's that mean?
No. Neither side damages each other. You do have an opportunity now, if you can invoke a trait that would be relevant to this, to break the tie in their favor, to allow them to do 1 damage to you, basically. You can get 2 checks for that to use during camp and stuff. Might be a good move if you have a trait that you could use. Yes.
I don't think you get 2
yes.
checks.
Or no, I'm sorry. You get 1 check for breaking a tie.
Yeah, you only get 1 check for any of them.
So.
Well, you get 2 checks if you give your opponent +2 dice.
Are you
actually.
sure?
So I look at the kobold and I say, maybe we shouldn't fight. Maybe we should be friends.
What?
Will you be my friend? So you're going to break the tie in their favor with your trait? What trait is it?
This persuader. I don't know.
No,
That's not a trait.
No, your trait.
Persuader.
It's got to be a trait, honey. It's either calm or loner.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could use calm and wait too long for the opportune time to strike.
All right.
Right,
well, what am I supposed to do? Like, you stupid kobold, get the hell out of my face.
No, you're not doing the opposite.
That's not calm.
You're not doing.
Well, actually, that is the opposite of calm.
Well, you're not doing the opposite of calm. You're not doing the opposite of calm. You're using calm against yourself. You're so calm that you wait too long to strike.
Thank you.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, you just wait that extra split second to get that arrow out of your quiver, you know, and like one of them flings a stone at you with its sling and knocks the arrow out of your hand, you know, and hurts your hand.
Well, I mean, wasn't I
Okay.
supposed to say I did that before I fought?
Well, no, we're breaking a tie. So there are different. Okay, so here's what we would do normally to break a tie. Make sure I get this right. So you can either do what you're doing and use a trait against yourself to break the tie, or we can make a. It would be health versus health, or actually their nature versus your health to break the tie.
Yeah.
Well, hold on,
I'm
make
like,
sure
I'm
this
like,
right.
la-di-da, whatever. You don't scare me. And you know, and then he does a pretty good hit towards me, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty
Yeah.
calm.
Yeah, actually, I don't
All
think
right, I
you
get
break.
it.
Yeah. Oh, actually, yeah.
You do get
the
2 chances.
tiebreaker. Yeah, well, yeah, the tiebreaker would be health, their nature versus your health. Their nature's 2 plus their help, and your health plus 2 help from their health. And that's how it would break the tie, and it would do damage either way with health.
Okay, but how much damage?
Well, they would get to roll 2 nature plus 1 help for each one that's out here. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They would roll 7 dice.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They roll 7 dice
So,
for damage.
Right. So look at it this way: if there's a tie in the game, even during a conflict, with a skill test, and it's a tie, then we go back to what raw ability is that skill related to. So it's a fighter test, so it's related to health, right?
Oh.
So the tiebreaker that you guys would roll would be health, and monsters always roll nature for everything, and you guys get to help with your health, basically.
Oh my god! But they do that much
Well,
damage.
hold on. To help with our health, I have a 5 health, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a
Well, yeah,
4.
so it's 1 die. It's just like regular help. You know,
But wait,
everybody
no,
has health,
no,
so
but-
everybody can help.
Oh, okay.
No, but if you break it in their favor, what happens? I don't understand.
If you break it in their favor, it would just kind of give them 1 success, and they would do 1 damage.
Okay, so
I think that's the way I see it.
Okay, that would make sense.
So am I supposed to roll again?
No.
No, I think we determined you're using a trait against yourself. So just mark on your sheet that you've used that calm trait.
Twice. Against yourself twice.
Twice?
Yep, there you go. Violet's got 2. No, not 3, 2, right?
Well, I
No,
had
she
one
already
from
used it
last
once.
game. That
Yeah.
one
No, but-
check was in there from
Yeah, she
last
already
game or
used it
something.
once against
Okay, good.
herself.
3 checks, excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, so Violet, they do 1 damage to you, so I'm going to remove a hit point from you. You've got 2 left. Next action. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. We'll figure this shit out.
Yeah, no, that's all right, Sean. I know it's a deep game. I mean, like on your end, you've got a lot to know about, you know.
Well, yeah, and you know what? I mean, after we do this for a while, after a few sessions, everything will kind of fall in place. It won't seem so deep anymore, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I flip these cards?
I don't know.
Hello? What'd you do to my cards?
I didn't do anything to your cards.
I can't flip them both at once.
I don't know.
Okay, Pingsley maneuvers against an attack. So maneuver versus an attack is a versus test.
Now, Pingsley is going to step out around the corner of the room, and he is going to try and get behind this kobold, the closest one to him, and he's going to try and push him from behind while he's being distracted by Violet and Breck. So, again, I'm going to use my nature for sneak.
Okay. So this one is wielding a spear, Alex. It bypasses leather armor. All right, so he's
So that means I cannot use my leather armor against.
And he's throwing it at you. Actually, well, no, he's not throwing it at you. It will bypass your leather armor though. So the maneuver in a kill conflict is it health? But you're using sneak. So you're rolling sneak. We've determined that Violet can help with her nature for hiding, I think, and Brett can use criminal wise to help.
Yep.
You guys are really gaming the system here. I can see myself. I'm going to lose sleep at night trying to figure out if I should let you do that, but we'll do it.
Well, yeah. No, Violet doesn't use hide. She uses singing to distract.
Singing.
Yes, and here I go.
Okay.
Sunlight dances through the tree leaves. Soft winds stir the sighing trees. Okay.
Nice. All right. I would give you 50 experience points for that if I could.
And Breck, he, I guess, is, yeah, criminal-wise, like, yeah, I'm over here.
He knows the plan. Yeah, he knows how it works.
I know what you're doing.
Okay,
All right,
so that's
the
5
kobold gets 2
plus 2. So that's plus 2 for help. That's 7 plus 1 for my might. That's 8 minus 1.
It's 1 success. It's 1 success for might.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So that's 7 dice minus 1 for my injury. That's 6 dice, I believe. Pretty sure.
Okay. The kobold gets 2 nature plus 5 help. They get 7.
Nice. Yes.
Way to go, Paisley.
I'm pretty sure you pushed him over, or her. Is it a woman?
All right. Pingsley gets a margin of...
Was that one of those big woman ones?
Yes.
God, Pigsley, you go.
I trip him.
All right.
So I impede.
So you're impeding. You're impeding the enemy. Yep.
Yeah, I push him. He's kind of.
It's a her, honey.
I push her in. I push her into the kobold that's fighting Brack. So that's why the other one gets a -1 die.
Okay, that's going to be on their first action next round here. So we'll put that over here. All right, we're going to clear it out and do the next round here.
Okay, choose new cards.
Nobody's lost any disposition yet. I don't think.
I did.
Oh, that's right, you did. I need to remember to do that. You guys are at 8 disposition.
God, I wish the defender card were better because I can't read it.
Use Z.
No, I mean it's literally unreadable.
Oh, whatever. Actually, I should put in parentheses. I should keep the starting disposition. Now that I'm thinking of it.
What's the last conflict card? It's maneuver, feint, attack, and what's the last one?
Defend.
Defend.
Defend. Okay.
Yeah, and defend increases your disposition. You can't go higher than your starting.
Did you pull that first card out there, up there by the 1D?
I did.
Okay.
No. Or did I?
Oh, I'm sorry. Here,
Oh.
move that sucker down here by. There we go.
All right,
Wait.
so they're gonna.
Okay. I'm confused.
That was Breck's card.
Nobody's lost any disposition yet.
You guys have lost.
I did.
See, I marked in the parentheses the
Right.
current, and I kept the total, so we know what the compromise is at the end here. Okay, here we go.
Can you put the total in the parentheses? That's a little confusing the way you have that set up.
Huh?
Here, let me change that.
I don't think you can. I'll do it.
I can
Picky.
actually. Apparently, I'm logged in as you on the other.
What?
On
Oh,
the
shoot.
OBS.
You know
Better
what?
not be logged in as me.
When I spent that persona, I should have put spent too, right? Now.
Yes, keep track. Yes, keep track of your spent fate and persona.
Yeah.
That's how you level up. Yeah. Make sure you keep track of that. All right, here we go. First action, second round. Oh, attack. So it's an independent roll. So the number of successes you get, Lee, will reduce their disposition by that amount. Number of successes they get will reduce your disposition. So this is the dangerous part, the old attack.
This is the time to really hammer away, get as many dice as you can, because if you can get that 6 successes, it'll wreck them.
Yeah, let's look at weapons, though. Note, they have a sling. I guess maneuver does not count against bowsmen. They don't get any combat bonuses for slings, fortunately. So, Lee, it's going to be a fighter test.
Let's see here. So
you could tap your nature again. Or you could use a whole bunch of fate. I mean, persona? Fate? I don't know. Rewards. Traits.
Yeah, it looks like Breck has 1 persona left.
Fate.
combat music back on here.
Let's see here. I suppose I'll use the persona point.
Okay. So you can use it to add 1 die, or you can tap your nature again and reduce your nature by using a wise. You have criminal wise though.
I do. Yes, criminal wise.
I don't know how does criminal wise work though in this situation. I'm not sure how it's related to fighting. You know.
Well, I would say as far as my criminal skills to even more vicious.
Yeah, knowing where the best vein in the throat is.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll let you use that persona to tap your nature then. You're gonna have to reduce your nature by another one.
Well, I mean, that's not the wise, though. I mean, you don't have to be wise to tap your nature.
Oh, that is right. That's true.
Persona for
what's nice? What's really nice, guys, if you can use a persona point to tap your nature, and the action that you're doing or the test you're doing has to do with your nature. For you, if it's boasting, demanding, or runningly, you don't have to lose that 1 point of nature if it's within your nature. You know. But since this is a fight test, you know, none of that's really boasting, demanding, or running.
Let me ask you, Dad. Running is charging at the enemy blindly and furiously running?
No. Running is like running long distances or fleeing. You could definitely use run, tap your nature for run in a fleeing conflict for sure.
How about the boasting? You know, I kill you and your host. Come family.
Right, but there's a difference between boasting and there's a difference between like boasting your ability, you know, like your great heroism, and actually cutting someone's head off. There's a difference.
Just think I would be boasting while I was doing it,
Yeah. Well, you know, boasting would be like
you can't hurt me.
Yeah, and there could be like social conflicts where you could do something like that, you know.
I would actually save the persona. I mean, unless you want to tap your nature, which is gonna kill them, all of them, hopefully.
Remember, you do get +1 success for your order of might. They're gonna get 7 dice. 2 nature plus.
Oh wait, Dad,
health.
Dad, hold on. I forgot about my extra success.
Actually, they get -1 dice, Alex. So it's.
I know, but I forgot about my extra success during my attack.
Your maneuver.
Yeah, my maneuver.
Okay. So what that means is you can either, you can
roll.
So I get.
Or take away that. No, you take away the negative D.
I'm gonna give. Can I, instead of giving them the -1 die, can I give Lee the +2?
+2. Yes.
Yeah.
So get rid of that negative D.
Yeah, so instead of pushing the kobold into the other kobold, I'm pushing him right into Breck's axe.
So there you go, Breck. You get 2 dice. You guys need to remember this stuff.
Hey, man. I did.
4 fighter.
I actually accidentally rolled for them. They got 3.
That's 7.
Did you roll with the lost die or not?
I did.
Okay. Because you need to roll an additional die then.
Shoot, he got
so
1.
I get a total of 10 dice to roll.
I'm helping you, of course. So that's 2 plus your fighter plus nature plus 1 success. +2.
Damn.
Nice.
Oh my god, look at the size of the sword!
Is that you, Sean? Or did you, is that a recording? What the hell was that?
Run away!
Oh my god, you
awesome.
killed every single one
That was
of
like
them.
6 flickin' whipping one. Nice!
That's 8 successes with Order of Might.
Oh my
Breck.
god, way to go, Breck! You should boast.
Breck,
you
roll for your armor.
He's like, of course I can do this.
Do boast.
That's right. They got 4 successes on you. They get -1 success for the armor for chainmail, so they got 3. And Brack, roll 1 6-sided dice. And need a 4 or higher to keep your chainmail from being damaged.
It's not chainmail.
Oh, it's leather?
Yeah, it's the leather. So that
You
was
rolled You rolled a 1.
that doesn't
So it doesn't protect them, right?
doesn't do anything.
Okay. Alright, so they get 4 on you guys. So that the team disposition is going to go to 4. So you have 4 out of 9 remaining. Brack just slaughtered the fucking kobolds again. Way to go, Brack.
You bastard kobolds.
Yeah, but this time there's going to be a bit of a compromise because you guys are about half of your disposition. Let's discuss this for a moment. So this would be considered a standard kind of compromise, which means that you don't fully accomplish your goal. You accomplish most of your goal, which was killing them all. And perhaps they don't necessarily accomplish their goal, but they do get some kind of concession from you, whether that be conditions, maybe a twist of some kind. What are you laughing at?
What are you doing?
Oh, am I still talking like that?
Sorry about that.
I can hear you in the kitchen, and it's cracking me up.
Behold the voice of the Lord.
That's
right.
That's the one I like. That's the one I like right there, dude. You should use that one more. That one's awesome. It's like the clouds part. The great DM. Oh.
Here's what Brack is thinking in his head. I'm going to be known as the greatest kobold slayer of all time.
Yeah.
All right, back to normal voice. Sorry, I was wondering why you were laughing. All right, so you guys have to. There is some kind of concession you guys have to
Dude,
give.
you were talking like 15 minutes like that. What the hell?
Wow.
Okay, so
Do you listen back
hold
to
on.
this?
Hold on. So we need to lose 4 disposition. So we need to get that out of the way first.
Well, I did. You have 4 out of 9 actually.
Oh, well.
You see that? So
yeah,
since you've lost half your disposition.
But who lost
right?
the dispositions?
You did. They lost all of theirs.
No, I know that,
0.
but which of us? Like, we need to remove the points from our characters here.
It doesn't matter. You can remove them all. What we're doing right now is we're trying to figure out what the compromise is. You guys have to make a concession here. So we can either think of this as perhaps you didn't actually kill them all because that was your goal, or maybe you guys get some conditions, from the battle.
Well, hold on.
Some kind.
Killing is my business, though.
That is true, but I wouldn't invoke killing as my business and kill one. I mean, I could if I were an evil GM, but since we're just kind of starting out in the game, I don't want to kill one of you guys right now. I could.
No, but hold on. Actually, I think you do because
no.
We're below
I would
this
definitely.
Position.
Well, here's the thing, Alex. If it was a major compromise, if you guys had 2 or 3 left, I would do that.
Is it not?
Is
it not a major compromise? I mean,
it's
we're
not.
Below
It's
half. Can you hear me?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Kill conflict. Compromise can be maybe steeper than you might imagine. And really, we have to decide this all together. I may make a suggestion.
Oh God. I'm losing.
How about Brack being the big warrior guy who killed everyone? Perhaps he was injured in the battle.
Makes sense.
And then give the other 2 a lesser condition is normally how like a condition thing would work. Split and everyone else, Violet and Pingsley exhausted. Or, yeah, I think that's
sense.
fair for the kill conflict, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Brack, you're injured. Violet, you're exhausted. Pingsley, you're exhausted. Does that sound fair to you, Alex?
Hold on, I'm trying to find the conflict rules.
Have you been moving that skull up the line for the rolls, or that you don't move
Yeah.
that up for the rolls during combat?
Actually, it goes now. That whole conflict took 1 turn. Thank you. And actually, we need to remove light too. That used up 1 little bit of oil in your lantern there.
See my circle I made?
That should have been in dim light too.
I'm always like organizing everything on the screen.
It's okay. It's fine.
Hold on.
You're looking at the conflict rules. I can help you with that, Alex, just real quick.
All right.
I'm just trying to
Been
look
a lot
at
worse,
killing
man.
is my business.
Yeah, it's on page 67. Killing is my business. The killing is my business clause says, if you choose the kill goal, then you put your life at risk as well. These rules are written from a player's perspective. When a compromise is reached, choose one of the options listed with the appropriate compromise level. Inflict without compromise, you and anyone else on your team is dead. The kobolds did not lose without compromise. They do have compromise. If you lose a kill conflict but earn a minor compromise, you are killed, but you can choose to inflict injury on your attacker, raise the alarm, the fight drags on, or you choose. If you lose a kill conflict but earn a mid-level compromise, which is what I'm considering here, you are killed, being the kobolds, but choose one of the following compromise. One of your teammates survives but is injured. You kill one or more of the opposing team unless you're fighting a single creature, or you injure and exhaust your opponent. You break something valuable or precious to your opponent. You destroy or scatter all that is valuable to you before your corpse is looted.
So, Dad, you have to choose here then. So you choose one of those 3 then.
Well, I
One of your
do, and you guys,
so
and you
can
guys have
choose
the
to-
right to say, I can choose, and you guys have the right to say, hey, wait a minute, that's kind of steep, I think. What do you guys think?
But
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, okay. I'm just saying though, by the rules, this is your decision because you're the one
That's right.
who lost the conflict.
I could technically kill one of you guys right now. I could say
Yes.
it was a hard fought battle. Hit in the skull with a stone, and she's bleeding profusely. Her eyeballs hang out of her, and she's on. It looks like she's in really bad shape, and she's going to die. I'm not going to do that though.
Obviously,
right now.
yeah.
I'm
Obviously,
say,
I don't want
I'm
you
gonna,
to, but I'm just saying that by the rules, you have that
That's
right now to decide one of those 3
Yep.
things.
Yeah, just so we all understand killing is my business clause. Yes.
But I think situationally, it's pretty clear. As far as the type, like you said, if someone had been badly individually, that would make sense, right?
Right. Yeah. Like if one of you went down, was knocked out,
Yeah.
I would be pretty justified in saying that you died.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess you're saying that we're all injured and exhausted?
No, I'm saying that Breck was injured and that Violet and Pingsley are exhausted. Generally, when I mete out conditions, I'll give one person a condition, and then I'll give the rest of the party lesser conditions.
When it says you injure or exhaust your opponent, does that mean all of your opponents?
No. I could have chosen to just exhaust Breck. It doesn't mean all opponents, no. But usually, like I said, when I assign a condition to a player, and all of the other players were involved in the role, or in the conflict, they should get a lesser condition than that. And that's exactly what I did. I gave Breck injured, and I gave Violet and Pingsley exhausted. So you guys are, I would say, significantly worse off at this point after these 2 battles. Exhausted gives you 1 factor in all of your tests, so you're higher for everything when you're exhausted. And Breck, when you're injured, I can also invoke death upon you. Anybody who's injured, like Pingsley and Breck, if you're injured and something bad happens, I can say, you know what, you're injured. I'm sorry, but I think in this situation, I think I'm going to have to give you the dead condition.
I see. Right.
So we haven't rested or camped or nothing yet, guys.
I know.
So
we've been going and going. We haven't gone to the town yet.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what. It's getting late for Lee. Remember, he's an hour ahead of us. It's going on midnight. I think now would be a good time to just kind of wrap up and do end of session, and we'll give you guys some time to think about what you're going to do. I would definitely consider possibly getting out of here for a while and recuperating a little bit. You guys have gone into the thick of it. Those were some pretty heroic battles there, but you are not better off because of it. So first of all, let's just do the procedures here. Okay, so end of session, we're going to award fate. So we'll just kind of go in order here. Breck, your belief. Did you act upon your belief?
Oh, yeah. Hesitation kills. Only the brave and decisive will be victorious. I absolutely.
Yes, sir. All right, you earn a fate for that. Belief, Violet, did you act upon your belief?
Well, I have protecting those who would protect me is how I roll. And I feel like this session I was trying to protect the dog and the little girl more so than I did them. So I don't know if that's going to apply or not, but.
Well, I think you did take a couple of specific actions during the session that shows that, you were attempting to protect others,
I definitely was trying, yeah.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, she was in the fight.
For sure.
She gets the point.
Yeah, take a fate for that, Violent. I think you acted appropriately towards your belief. You're very protective of perhaps those who cannot protect themselves, or for those who protect you. Maybe you can reward that a little bit so to clarify it.
Yeah, maybe.
And Pingsley, what's your belief?
My belief is the strength of my friends makes up for my cowardice, mostly.
Well,
I mean, he sword.
Yeah, Breck was out there brandishing his. Breck was out there brandishing the innkeeper's sword, just hacking into the goblins while Pingsley's lurking around doing sneaky shit. So take a fate for that. So goals, Lead. Did you work towards your goal, but did not accomplish it? Would you say you accomplished your goal this session? I think so.
Well, yeah. I mean, I did bring punishment to those responsible for sure.
Yeah. So to get the fate for that, you have to work towards your goal but not accomplish it. So we'll get to. I think you'll get a persona for that, but don't mark it yet. Violet, your goal. Did you work towards your goal but did not accomplish it?
I will save the human child from the grips of the evil kobolds, and I did. I think
you accomplished it. You didn't just.
Yeah, I'd say you accomplished it. Yeah. And Pingsley, did you work towards your goal?
I think I accomplished mine as well. I will be the last one harmed by the kobolds in the House of Three Squires is my goal, and I think I acted appropriately to make sure that I would not get harmed at all by the god.
Okay, so all right, so we'll just skip ahead here and we'll say that all of you get a persona for completing your goal for the session. Okay. So everybody get a persona. Did anyone play their instinct? I think one of you did. Violet, didn't you play your instinct?
Yeah, I always thoroughly search unexplored areas. I found chainmail and a dead corpse.
So if you if you play your instinct and benefit your party during the session, you get a fate. So you get a fate point.
Did that as well.
All right, Lee, get a fate point.
I was determined the strength and weaknesses of my enemies.
Oh, one thing to think of kind of retroactively. If someone uses their instinct to make a test, you can only help them with an instinct or with a nature attribute.
Oh, we messed up on that earlier.
It's okay. Instincts are a little different for help. We just need to try to remember that. It's kind of we don't want you to get too strong here. Right. Okay, so persona. So did anybody play against their belief in a dramatic fashion?
Just so everybody knows, I did not play out to my instinct. Thank you for asking.
Oh yeah, well I kind of knew that. Did anybody play against their belief in a dramatic fashion?
No.
I don't think Breck was playing totally towards his belief in this session.
Me too.
Okay. Okay, so everybody.
What's yours, Al?
You know what?
The strength of my friends makes up for my cowardice.
Mostly. I think
you did play towards that because, well,
it's against it though. For
I think I did play against it because there was not a moment of cowardice there. I think Breck and Violet inspired me consistently to go forward, and I don't think I'm a coward anymore.
He wasn't really a coward when he went up behind a large woman kobold and pushed her.
That is true. You did kind of put yourself out there, put yourself in harm's way. I agree. If you guys agree, I agree.
I think I'm going to change my belief as well.
Okay.
I changed my belief. Can I tell you what I changed my belief to real quick?
Well, hold on. Let's get through this first.
Are you allowed to change your belief without?
At the beginning of an end of session, yeah, you can change them. Between sessions, it's fine. We should talk about them all together, though. So, Alex, go ahead and get a persona for playing against your belief. I would like to see it more in a dramatic fashion, but
I think
future.
it was pretty dramatic, honestly.
It was good.
That
Yeah,
I
it's
really
memorable.
broke out of my general. I think this was the first time that we're seeing Pingsley as an adventurer rather than sort of a frightful chef looking for money. I think.
Yeah, he's coming out of his shell a little bit, showing himself
burglar.
to be useful in the adventuring and the
Yes.
life. Yeah. All right. So everybody accomplished their goal. So you guys already got a persona for that. So here we are. We're going to choose the MVP. The MVP gets a persona. Most valuable player, the player who really came through for everyone or had a moment of glory during the session.
Oh, dude, Lee, absolutely. I think that Lee slaughtered the kobolds.
Yeah.
Pretty much almost single-handedly. I mean, honestly, he just crushed them. Especially with that last amazing roll. 7 successes. 8 successes.
Totally agree. I totally agree.
Yep.
Breck was very impressive. The battle cries and everything, just the
pretty
the
much saved our asses.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right, so Lee, get a persona for MVP, and team worker, 1 persona to a chosen.
1 persona to a chosen.
Who maybe had all the right skills and made all the right rolls to kind of help move things forward and keep everybody alive.
I think that should go to Violet. I mean, I really do, because she was the one that kept the child safe. She's the one that's
held the lantern most of the time.
Held the lantern. She's
and the
one
dog.
that was. She's the one that stopped them from getting disposition on us with her bow, and she's also the one that searched for traps, even though there weren't any there. There might have been if we failed that test. So I think that she should definitely.
And she found the chain shirt too.
Oh, she also found the chain shirt.
All right, so yeah, Violet, I would say get the team worker. The MVP cannot get both MVP and team worker, by the way. It's a persona point.
Oh,
persona. You get a persona point. Ding.
I get stuff this week. Yay.
Yeah. Lastly, we award 1 persona for embodiment. An embodiment is for role playing, like invoking a belief, a goal, instinct, alignment with drama and entertainment value. We may do so. This award's not always given out, and everybody shouldn't get it. But if somebody does something just amazing or hilarious or awesome, they should definitely get an embodiment.
I think Lee again, and also Violet. Violet is really starting to become. Violet's really starting to come out of her shell as the character. You know what I mean? Like, Mom, you've been doing a really good job at playing Violet, especially this session. And Lee, dude,
Lee's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did sing a couple songs.
You did?
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah, that was very cool. All right, yeah, so Breck and Violet both get a persona for embodiment. Note, if your character dies, your fate and persona are passed to your next character. So that's always a good thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, Dad, how does leveling work?
Leveling. To reach level 2, you need to have spent 3 fate and 3 persona.
Oh, my
Once
God,
you've done that, in order to level, you have to go to town to level.
I'm so close.
Yeah, and everybody has a second level benefit that you choose. You'll have 2 choices. You can find those in the rule book.
Cool.
They're just beneficial perks is what we call them.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, I need to start spending, I guess. I didn't realize that. I have 3 fate and 4 persona still. I've only spent 2 persona, so.
That's cool. You'll get there. You're going to need it too. You can really see how the fate and persona play out. And we'll also see how the checks play out probably next session. You guys probably want to think about camping. I don't think you have enough money yet really to go back to town to make town of any benefit to you because
we've got silver.
Yeah,
and
we
we've
got
got
silver. We've got alcohol. We've got. I'm sure somebody's gonna look. Somebody's probably looking for this innkeeper at least, or he's gonna be willing to help us in some
But in the
way.
big picture, if you go back to town and you guys all have zero resource dice, you're relying on dice rolling for lifestyle in town towards your treasure. I'm not sure if you've built up enough treasure really.
Maybe we should camp and keep moving.
Does haggle help?
Haggle does help in kind of random ways. If you roll really good and really high, it can help reduce prices in town. It can give you free recovery tests and all kinds of good stuff. Yeah.
Well, here's my.
But everything in town costs money. Basically, you go to town, you build up points of lifestyle, doing what you're doing, whether you're making stuff. If you stay at the inn, you know it costs money. If you go to the market, it costs money. And then when you leave town, you have to make a resources test to pay your debts, depending on how much lifestyle you've built up.
Maybe we haven't got enough treasure yet, guys. Maybe we should camp right where we are and talk to this guy.
If you fail that resources test, there can be dire circumstances, like dire consequences, because the bill collectors will come after you. They'll take your shit. They'll give you conditions. They'll send the thugs after you. They'll imprison you.
What the hell? Okay, well, I have healer, so I can heal your all's injuries maybe here in the dungeon.
Right, so here are my thoughts, though. Here's what I'm thinking. I think that we should camp. We should spend our checks to get rid of as many of these conditions as we have as possible. Then we should go back to town, because going back to town is the only way that we can increase our wealth levels.
Yeah, but he just said that's not good unless you have a lot.
No, but the thing is, we're going to be getting more conditions if we stay in the dungeon.
But I could maybe heal your injured.
Exactly. If we can go back, we don't have too many conditions right now. We might be able to heal them all during camp.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that some more at the beginning of the next session. I'll be able to explain more how town works, Alex. I'll take you guys to the town screen and kind of give you a good overview.
You made it sound like I don't even want to go to town, man.
No, your town is expensive, and if you can't pay your debts, if you don't have the money to pay for stuff, if you have to sleep on the streets, it's a bad thing, you know.
Yeah,
or if only one of you if you only have enough money for one of you to stay at the inn, it's almost like, what's the point of going to
Which
town?
is exactly why you don't want to go back to town with a bunch of conditions.
We'll evaluate where we are with the money and see what other resources we can scrounge up next time. You know, who knows, man? Maybe this is the innkeeper.
Right.
Here with his foot lopped off, and maybe he'll give us a reward or something. Who knows? Or maybe there's something in this room. We haven't searched this room yet, so.
Right.
Well, there's always a chance of something being anywhere. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we could find some resources. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, and keep in mind in camp, it's not only recovery tests. You can do things like make maps. Angie, what you would do to help for healing is you make a healing test to create salves and to help people, to give people extra dice for their recovery checks for stuff. You guys will be able to get more water. You'll be able to hunt for food, stuff like that. But you guys have some checks built up, so that's good. I think the camp might be the next step here, at least to see how well you can recover, and then maybe decide whether you want to go back to town first.
Can I ask a question real quick? Yeah. Do other people like help you in this game? Like you said, I can make bandages and stuff or whatever. Can I put that guy's foot back on and maybe he'd do something nice for us, or like how does that work? Like with other people?
Yes. Can you cast the binding spell that locks things in place on his
like
foot?
Foot to leg? Yeah, maybe I could freaking put them back together.
Definitely, you could definitely put one. You could definitely put one hell of a bandage on there that would fall off.
Can we tape it back on and then bind it?
Yeah. But to answer your question, Angie, yes, you can't. People can help you with that. Whatever can help healing can help healing. But here's the terrible and horrifying thing: when you make recovery tests to try to get rid of exhausted, injured, or whatever, and you're trying to roll your health or whatever to try to get rid of those conditions. Nobody can help you.
And what if I fail? Then something bad happens to me again, right?
No, you just don't. You keep the condition. And technically, you can't roll for any conditions. You can't recover from any conditions that are higher on the scale than that condition. So it's kind of horrifying. But Violet can make poultices and salves and stuff to help people with their health tests and stuff in camp. You can use Persona, Fate for those tests, which is important to save Fate and Persona for those recovery tests. Yeah. We'll talk about it more next session. It's getting late.
All right.
Well, that's cool. We'll be able to level up. If we can use some Persona for that, we'll be able to level up. Yay!
That'll be
Yeah. Yeah, you could time it so that all of you have spent enough fate and persona by the time you go back to town. Bing, you all level up, even if you have to sleep on the streets.
Right.
Or whatever.
Exactly.
All right, guys.
All right, guys. Good
Great
session.
Good game.
Fun.
Yeah, really good game.
Later.
That was fun. Yeah.
Have a good night. I'll see you next week. Actually, I'll be seeing
you guys next time.
me tomorrow.
Have a good weekend.
Exactly.
See ya.
Bye bye.